Okay, here we are. We are live. So I'm Carrie, and I have a webcomic on Google Plus and some other places. Uh, and you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on DeviantArt. So we'll go on to the next. So this will go to Ox.
I am Samurai Ox on all accounts of social media. I have my own comic series, I Never Forgot, that I started earlier this year in February, and I'm currently working on kickstarting my 4th issue. I will throw the link to that in the chat on the side. Um, but it's been fun and rewarding so far, and looking forward to next year already.
Okay, awesome. And I'll make sure we get a link to the. You've got a Kickstarter going, so I'll make sure we get a link to that too on this video.
Nice.
All right, Eric.
My name is Eric. You can find me pretty much on all accounts through my full name, Eric Faries. On YouTube, Tumblr, all that kind of stuff. I draw comics. I'm working on a project that I'm hopefully going to be having out soon. But in the meantime, I'm just working up on trying to get my butt back into the drawing phase.
Nice.
There you go.
I am horribly rusty right now. It's really bad.
You and me both.
I don't believe it. I love both your guys' stuff.
I haven't drawn anything in so long. Seriously, I've been just out of the all sense of being able to work on anything.
It does get to you at some point.
Alrighty.
Hopefully we'll have some more people joining us if they can figure out how to get on.
That would be good. So, Starbucks cup controversy. Thoughts?
Oh my god.
I love the world that they care so much about something so little.
I know.
Yeah, really.
And I love that 95% of the posts that I see are people we shouldn't care about this, except I'll spam it about 3-4 times a day.
Yeah.
No comment. Stupid people.
I really think Daily Show hit it on the nail the other day. They're like, you think they're against Christmas except the cup is red and green? And you really can't get more Christmassy than the actual colors used for the holiday.
Yeah. I don't know. My feeling is like, if that's what ruins your Christmas, then you really need to rethink things.
Yeah.
People be kind of stupid.
People be a lot of stupid. Although all the art that have been happening on cups like the last couple days have been awesome. I've seen a ton of posts about people just drawing on the cups.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Some of it's really detailed.
Yeah, I remember I found a few artists that would do it day to day just because they were bored sitting in the coffee shop. So.
Well, if you got nothing better, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. What else is on your plate in the art world, Carrie?
My plate. Oh my goodness. Life is on my plate. Oh, I don't know. I'm still trying to struggle through this this one page. All these little tiny comic covers. Actually, I'll show it. Hang on. So, I've got some of yours stuff in there. So I've got turtles in here, flaming carrot, got a little monkey mod in there.
Very nice.
When Jay Allen gets on, I've got her Lady of the Flame over here.
I already absolutely love the comic.
Yeah. Awesome. What else do I have? I think I know I've got your.
Is that your Donatello?
That is Raphael.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it's hard to tell when it's in black and white.
I know. Well, I will get there. Well, they all used to be red, so. You got a little space cat.
Well, they all
there.
used to be black and white.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell a damn
That's
thing
true.
apart about them except for their
That is
weapons.
true. They used to be all black and white. A little too much coffee, man. Oh, I know I've got. Where is? Ah, there's yours, Noah.
Nice. Very nice indeed.
It's really hard doing all these little tiny covers because you can't put a whole lot of detail in there.
I can imagine.
Oh, I think I have got some stuff going on the countertop here too. Little space cat. Little
Space cat.
yeah.
What actual problems are you having with the page?
My brain. Just basically, it's like one of those things where you tend to overwork things, and it will. I overwork it to the point where it becomes. I have to redo it. It just becomes ridiculous.
Don't rework anything. Just leave it be.
I know.
Oh, it looks like we have a new challenger entered the fray.
Mm-hmm.
I'm innocent.
That's definitely what a guilty person would say. Welcome, Nexus Earth.
How you doing, guys?
I imagine that's Greg, right?
That's me.
Right
Alright.
on.
Although
don't you
put
go
me
ahead?
in on the wrong account. But I made it.
Introduce yourself.
I am Greg Scott Bailey, and I have yet to actually get started on the 100 and stay on it. So I applaud you all for sticking with it.
And where can we find you?
It's gregscottbailey.com, and everything else is getting reorganized right now.
Oh, I have to remember to mute the microphone when I'm clearing my throat.
It's a good call.
Because I deal with a lot of phlegm issues because of my sinus problems, so I'm constantly having to clear my damn throat.
Fair enough. Are you still working on the same comic that you were working on when you started the 100 Days, Greg?
Yeah, I'm working on Polytechnolust. It's more of an adult storyline, 18 plus, but it's at least helped with the creative juices to keep things flowing and keep me drawing at least a little bit each day, if not the required 30 minutes.
I mean, that's the best you can ask for, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to work with what you can do.
Yep.
No, I must do
Definitely days
better.
I've missed.
Yeah.
There's definitely nothing to be taken lightly. I think a lot of people start out on the 100 days, and a lot of them make it about day 20 and realize that the whole recording process and getting thoughts out in a day becomes more of a hassle than what they actually signed up for.
Yeah.
Little bit.
Yeah, for me, that's actually been turning into a more of an encouraging thing. Actually, making a process out of it has helped me, and I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of the reverse now. But by having to do that and then kind of remind myself, oh, I gotta get the camera out, get the equipment hooked up. It's time to draw. Time to put the blacklist away and focus on what's in front of me, the drawing board.
That's all it takes some days. I can promise you my whole week has been just a massive hurricane of working on a 4th issue. and finishing up because I realized the end of November is in 2 weeks and I want all this done by next week. So.
I definitely hear that. I've got Phoenix Fan Fest beginning of December, and I've decided to toss out all of my fan art prints. I'm now done with doing that, and I'm strictly my own stuff or licensed items. So, kind of what you see here. Heck, tonight could be the first print. I don't know. It's kind of scary, but I got 2 weeks, maybe 3, to get it all done.
Right on. Good on you. That's awesome. I think there's going to be a big marketplace for your comic once you actually get the pencil to the paper, because I'm actually looking forward to it. So.
And I'm sitting here like, there. I made a line.
See, that's all you had to do.
That's all
Now you're getting there. Because you can't fix a blank canvas, so.
Exactly. And then, of course, the hardest additional part to filming this stuff is the pencils. It comes in so light. Well, actually, the preview window doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. I use a blue pencil, so it just doesn't even show up whatsoever.
Yeah, I keep telling myself I need to do that. I need to, because I started doing it on Small Story. T-Mobile talked me into getting a Galaxy S4 stylus included thing. And I got the Sketch Pro app and everything. And on there you can actually have layers on the program and draw with it and the stylus. And I actually started sketching on there with Blue Line, and yet I still can't commit to it with with paper. But I can see the examples of how it works.
Yeah, it's definitely something to get used to. It probably took me, I don't know, 5 to 6 or 7 drawings just to even be comfortable inking over it. It's just, I don't know. There's something different about it, but there's also something that I like about it now. So. But Eric and Carrie, you're both digital pretty much, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I started out more traditional. Digital was kind of a strange thing for me. I had to get used to it. But my scanner kind of doesn't work all that good, so I decided digital is easier because I can make it look good without having to worry about trying to scan it in.
I feel ya. I've been fighting with my scanner for 2 days now.
Yeah, so now that I've gotten used to it, I like it. I still like to try to do. I find if I do too much digital, sometimes I lose something. So sometimes I have to go back to traditional a little bit.
Right on.
Keep my skills up.
And you're on a full-size computer, and Eric, you're on a tablet, right?
No, I'm on a regular computer that I built.
Oh, right on.
And I'm on a Surface Pro, so that's smaller.
Right on.
Yeah, the tablet I use is the 13 HD, or sorry, display tablet, not tablet like what she has. But I am going to be getting a Surface Pro 3. That way I can kind of work out in the living room if my back's starting to hurt from the chair, you know.
Oh yeah.
Back problems? What's that?
Well, I have weight issues, so I have a lot of back issues just from moving around.
I feel you.
Yeah, me and Sandy Shears were talking about it earlier, actually, that we're both looking to get into tablets. Me, probably by the end of my doing my comic run, which is going to be 13 issues. I don't look to getting into digital next year, but probably the year after I'll start slowly phasing it in.
I think I'm with you on that. Next year's my digital transition. I want to do my webcomics digitally, and I want to do my actual comic book line traditionally. Which is kind of funny to say because traditional is now including digital coloring.
I know
I
a
can
lot of
tell
people
you.
who do that kind of combo thing.
Well, I'm starting to feel the the weight of the actually doing traditional and having to get art supplies every comic issue and restocking everything. So.
Yeah, I pretty much just made the leap to digital just because of the convenience. It became so much easier to deal with working with comic pages and getting them done, and not having to worry about buying supplies every couple weeks. Especially with the ink, the paper, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just became a lot more easier to handle.
Yeah.
You know, there's that too. It gets expensive.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Let's see. New pack of lead holders, or in case of Mountain Dew. News at 11.
Yeah, really.
So movies. Any good movies out there?
Not yet.
I saw Spectre last weekend. I really dug that.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see that. Gonna take my kids to see Peanuts.
I actually did see that. I was goaded into it by the kids.
I,
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It was actually pretty good.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Not as bad as I thought it would be.
Considering the people who made it, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
And it turned out way better than most people thought it would, especially because they thought they would try too hard to really modernize it too heavy, but thankfully they didn't.
Yeah.
That's good.
It was actually pretty cute, so.
I can believe that. Now that we're almost to December, the movies are just going to get more insane and more crazy. I think Hunger Games is this weekend, and then 2 weekends, or 3 or 4 is Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, is there another Star Wars movie coming out? I haven't heard.
Cheers.
What? What year is this? Jurassic Park? Something about Back to the Future again?
All I know is that I'm excited for Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. That looks good.
I have been wanting a good Deadpool movie for so long.
You know what? I had a lot of doubts about it, but with all the random promotion they're doing for that movie, I am so excited for it. Right up there again now.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
The whole Halloween stunt was.
Oh yeah, the Halloween thing was great.
It's perfect.
Reynolds is perfect for that fucking role. Like that, he was born to play Deadpool.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they took his mouth away for X-Men 3?
Yeah.
No, that was Origins. X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Origins.
But the fact that you can actually let him have that moment where he says, "From the studio that sewed my mouth shut."
Who sewed his fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, gotta love it. See, that's the right thing for Fox to do. Is to let these guys work.
Yeah.
Let them create.
We'll see. I mean, I still have some strong feelings about the Fox studio, but it looks like they're going down the right path with Deadpool, at least.
Yeah, it's
Because
like
God knows
just
they took
cut too
every
much out of
chance.
the trunk.
Yeah, God knows they tried to destroy Fantastic Four every way possible at this point.
Yep.
It's kind of funny. I think people are still shell shocked from all that. Like what? Was that a movie? Or were we still
It's
watching
like, wait,
previews?
didn't we already get a bad Fantastic Four movie? Why are we getting this again? What the fuck?
Well, I don't know how far you guys delved into it, but the original cut was supposed to be something a lot better. Like
You
I've
mean
heard
Doctor
the
Doom is
first.
actually going to look like Doctor Doom?
Well, they had the Fantastic Car and everything, and like they cut off like the last hour and then reshot the like 45 minutes.
Are they just not going to go with the version of Doctor Doom where he's actually a fucking leader of a goddamn country?
See, I don't know. I think that's why Marvel wants rights back to it, so they can actually.
So they can do it right?
Yeah, pretty much.
They're like, God damn it, you people keep fucking up our characters. Give us them back.
The problem is that Fox is so afraid to use anything with magic that they end up trying to make it realistic, and they just
yeah,
can't
it's like, come
do
on,
it.
the motherfucker is this great lord of his goddamn country. Like, he owns the freaking country, and he is heavily involved in magic and mysticism, mixing in with his technology. Like, come on, that is the great character to have fun with, and yet you're just trying to make him either some stupid businessman astronaut motherfucker, or whatever the fuck they did in that new one. I still refuse to see it because everything I saw that I was like, nope, 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 and double nope. Fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I do not want to sit through that train wreck.
I have no idea what they're doing with the next one. I've heard that they gave rights back to Marvel, but I've also heard that they already greenlit a second one.
No, they haven't done the movie rights back to Marvel, but it can lapse if they don't start production on number 2 soon. The only thing that them and Marvel had agreed upon right now is the current state of doing TV shows, and Marvel has agreed to their terms on TV shows, but we, as the public, are not allowed to hear what those terms are. So,
hey, as long as they're putting out content like that Daredevil Netflix series, I'm okay with that.
I just watched that newest Jessica Jones trailer.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
That's out next week, isn't it?
Weekend, yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure.
I'm definitely a bit more like when it comes to TV shows, I'm a little bit more on the DC side, just because I'm not a big fan of Arrow, and the only reason I bothered to watch it was because I heard that there was a cameo of Barry Allen, and that was going to jumpstart them doing The Flash. And I was like, oh, god damn it, now I got to watch all 3 seasons that were out. And so I watched all 3 seasons just to get caught up so I could figure out, okay, where's Barry Allen, where's Barry Allen, where's Barry Allen, where's Barry Allen? And then when the episode finally came, I was like, okay, he doesn't quite look like Barry, but I'm going to give him a chance. He's a young guy. And then as soon as he started like acting the part, I'm just like, I'm sold. Give me my Flash. Give me. And then yes, I've been in just heaven with the Flash lately.
Oh, well, I mean, it seems
Grant's
like
charming.
DC definitely knows what they're doing on the show side, because they can actually stretch a story out to where it needs to be.
To me, comic book really work better as TV shows because you have that time to build things, and then maybe have an event movie that deals with some big event that obviously would like if they did something like Infinite Crisis. To me, that would be building up with the TV shows, and then you would just have the movie that would be Infinite Crisis.
Oh yeah.
You know, that to me is how it would work.
But I mean, we'll see next year if Fox can get, or DC can get their get the ball rolling with Batman versus Superman. I think it's still going to be a flop.
I'm torn because one, I like the actors. Like I like Ben Affleck. I like that Henry guy. He looks good. He looks like a Superman. He can act the part. But why is a Superman movie dark? Like Super Nolan dark? I don't understand that. Why did they kill all the color? Because actually, I saw a YouTube video where they basically took away all the dark effects that they used to make the movie dark and showed you what the original cut of that movie would have looked like. His suit was bright. It was blue. Everything was so much easier to see. It was colorful. I'm like, that's Superman. What the fuck?
I think it's a progression of Nolan just not being a good director anymore. I just don't think he has the chops anymore.
He thinks that just because he did great with the Batman series, and that's questionable, by the way.
Yeah, even
You know?
that, I'll only give him the
I
first
give him credit
death.
for Dark Knight. Dark Knight
Yeah.
was great. That was a great call. Heath Ledger did a great job. I kind of like Christian Bale a little bit, but then he started doing the stupid voice thing, and I know people argue that, well, of course he's going to do something with his voice so people can't tell who he is. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. He didn't have to do that. Kevin Conroy did the greatest job at doing a fucking Batman voice for how long now?
Have you
Don't
ever
give me
seen
that.
the College Humor ones?
Yeah.
Oh, like the ones where it's like...
Badman, I think it is? Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
those are pretty fantastic.
Where's Commissioner Gordon? Where is he?
Harvey face? Gary face.
God, yeah, it's just and that third movie, I wanted to punch someone so bad. Oh, they fucked
That
up
third one
Bane
is terrible.
and they fucked up Talia so bad.
They did a lot wrong with that movie. I can't think of anything I really liked of the movie.
The only thing I like about the movies are the actors. I love that they got to play Gordon. Fucking awesome job. You know, the actress they got to play Talia, I'm like, okay, I can believe her as a Talia, except when you do it that way. The guy they got for Bane, that was what's his name? Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, yeah.
Yeah, and like I know he's a decent actor. Like he's not great, but he's really they should have did the Bane from the comics. The fucking guy who came from Mexico, who was basically his own version of a drug dealer because he spread his own toxin around. But his main goal was Batman. That's all he cared about was I want to prove myself that I'm this big tough motherfucker. Hey, look, there's Batman. Let's go fuck with him.
But they also they got an A-list actor for somebody they never really showed off, and you couldn't audibly understand. So I
know they had to do so much work to make it even audible.
Yeah.
and even then, it was still bad. I'm sitting here listening to the voice like, why is he doing a Sean Connery impersonation?
I had a friend who could do a spot-on Bane impersonation, only because he shoved a shot glass in his mouth and would just talk like that.
Just do a Sean Connery impersonation with that stupid mask on. It works.
Oh, shingles, you say?
Yeah, pretty much. That's all it is. It's just, and they even messed up, because they tried to throw in the epic moment where he breaks his back. And I'm like, no, you did not earn that. That was an epic moment in the comics where they had a long fight. He was tearing up Batman, and then he finally breaks his back as a way of breaking the man. You did not earn that movie.
And then he's fixed a week later.
I know, and what was stupid was they started the movie with him already having leg problems. He fixes that, then he gets his back broken, and then he has to get that fixed. I'm like, why?
I love that there's a huge dilemma, nowadays. Now that I'm getting older, you understand that Batman's been dealing with his parents' death for 30-plus years, and he just hasn't gotten over it. It's like...
Well, then you also got to remember, obviously, continuity changes, timeline changes.
Oh, yeah.
It's not all the same exact timeline. They have changed things, they've retconned things. Otherwise, he would be an old motherfucker right by now. He would be Dark Knight Returns.
It's true.
Which is still one of my favorite books to read. And
that's another one of the fan requests. One of the fan requests is to get Keaton back. And then do Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond would be fucking awesome if they got Keaton to do that. That would be. You know what they could do though? Because Kevin Conroy's old now, he could technically play old man Batman. He could do it
as long as Nolan wasn't as far away from the movie as he could possibly get.
Oh, please, just get Nolan's hands off. And that's the thing with this this Batman v Superman is they're trying to do Dark Knight Returns when they haven't warranted it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's basically what they're doing. They're doing Dark Knight Returns. Except, I don't believe for one second that in this universe, a Batman who doesn't know Superman very well, and obviously Superman's not going to get cold nuked in the face like he did in the comic, to be weakened. How the fuck is he going to hold his own?
I think it's supposed to be much more of a
Misunderstanding
political,
trap.
well, like
That's
a
what it looks like.
political thriller, kind of.
Well, it looks like it's like the fight itself is probably going to be a misled moment where Lex is somehow manipulating them and gets them into a confrontation, and then they finally go, "Wait, why are we fighting each other?"
True. Or to be like a Whiplash moment from Iron Man 2 where they just have 1,000 drawing bat suits.
Oh god, no! Shut your whore mouth.
What's my bird?
Ugh.
Where's my bird?
Ugh.
You give me bird, I give you suits.
God, why that second movie? I want my bud. It's like, fuck off. I kind of liked the movie. That was an okay movie.
Listen, I'm not going to talk trash about it. I loved it.
Yeah,
It was just
fun.
a fun
It was
action.
fun. Yeah. It was a fun movie. The fucked up thing is the third one should have been better. And it sucks because there are so many good points about that third movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way they dealt with his PTSD was fucking great. Like, they realistically showed how PTSD works and the ways a person can kind of cope with it.
And they didn't overdo it either.
No.
Like,
They played it
show him
perfect.
constantly going into crap, and it's like, people have it in waves.
And he did, and they showed how to trigger it too. Like that little boy kept fucking triggering it, like 3 times?
Yeah.
It's like, damn it, kid!
What?
Gotta give this man a
We
heart.
talk about New York? Why not about New York? I mean, there's portals and aliens coming through, and they almost swallowed you too.
I know. It's just like, kid, shut the fuck up. Kid, shut the fuck up. I'm kind of I say kind of because I'm. What's the good word to say? I'm cautiously looking forward to Civil War. And I mean cautiously because, for one, they don't have all of the characters that they actually need to pull that story off.
Yeah.
One, they have Robert Downey Jr., and 2, that's all they need. So, I mean,
They have Robert Downey Jr., they have Chris Evans, they finally technically have Spider-Man to use now. But the problem is, you're missing so many more characters. You need Reed Richards. You need Logan. Logan was a huge factor. Like,
it's true.
they don't have all the players.
I think once they show off Spider-Man, what they can finally do with a character that they got back, they can finally show off what they can do. And hopefully they'll have X-Men for the Infinity War.
I hope. Well, they still got to deal with. Obviously, we got X-Men Apocalypse coming up. So.
Oh god, that's gonna be trash.
Oh my god, I hope not, because I don't want them to end on a bad. Because they brought him back. They finally brought, what was his name? Zinger. They finally brought him back. He finally corrected some mistakes by using Days of Future Past as a way of rewriting things, saying, "All right, all that shit you didn't like, gone."
Pretty much.
But and I
X-Men
am
3?
also. It's fun.
What
Have you
X-Men 3?
seen the poster for it with Apocalypse in the background?
Oh no, I haven't seen any. Like,
It looks
I
like they
have
color
avoided
corrected him.
everything.
Like he stopped. He doesn't look like Ivan Ooze anymore. They made him blue. I'm like, okay, that's a step in the right direction. He's blue now. He's not purple. Which I understand why they probably made him purple in the footage, because it's hard to get colors to translate properly to film when you have to color correct things. So they might have went darker and then lightened him up in post production. So
yeah, I've seen far too much face-off stuff that I watch religiously to know that like it's probably just a color option that would read easier on camera. So
yeah. The only thing I'm very angry about is the fact when they released, okay, like since we're still talking about comic book movies, Suicide Squad. I am not looking forward to that, and I hate that because I should be. I should be looking forward to that movie, but I'm not, because they just did so many things that to me feel like cop-outs.
But that movie's not going to kill you. It's just
see,
gonna
I'm so
hurt ya.
Oh
I'm
my god,
so
don't get me
excited about
started
that
on
movie.
Jared Leto.
I'm so excited about that movie because I know everybody's gonna hate it, and I know that's a bad thing to say, but
I know, right? Okay, here's my problems with the movie, with what I've seen so far. Okay, or I should start with a good thing. For one, Harley Quinn looks fucking perfect.
Mhm.
Like, it looks great. I haven't like heard her talking very much, so I don't know if she's gonna try and use the accent or not, or if she's just gonna do her own thing. Most of the characters look good. Like Killer Croc looks fucking awesome. Like, I don't know how they did that with the practical makeup, but fucking A, they did it perfect. You know, Katana looks great. Some of the characters look great. And then we have two characters who are giving me the biggest problem. Obviously, my issues with Joker. I'm pissed because they got a good actor to do the part, and they fucked it up with the visuals. They fucked it up with the visuals. What are with those tattoos? What is with that goddamn grill?
I'm absolutely not a fan of Leto, so
I think he'll do a good job. I think he'll surprise people by doing a good job.
I think so. I mean, he did
He
good
has the
job
voice
in.
down. Like, he sounds like Joker in that trailer.
He did a great job in Lord of War, so I'm not counting him out. It's just, I don't know. I hate his music, so.
When they released that picture of him doing the crazy face from Killing Joke, I was just like, what the fuck are with the tattoos? Why? What? No. And they made it seem like it was just a test to see if people would like it or not. And then it shows up in the movie, and I'm just like, The only other problem I have, and I hate saying it because I love the actor so much, but why is Will Smith Deadshot? Why is he Deadshot?
I don't have that answer for you. I can't even comprehend it.
Because we must have a star with name recognition to play
Like,
a part. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. They're
I
bringing
guess they don't
in-
have any. Do they have any other diversified characters?
Well, the thing is, I hate the fact that they're using it as... To me, as far as I'm concerned, I'm against all racial changing of characters, period, if they have an established character. Like, I know a lot of people were getting on them getting the wrong actress to play Tiger Lily. I am all for that. They should have gotten a Native American actress to play that part. Even during the, as much as I hate the film, The Last Airbender, what was with the complete fuckery of them changing the firebenders to Middle Eastern instead of Japanese? The Asian kid didn't really look all that Asian. Fucking Katara and all, and her brother look nothing like the characters at all. They got these like bland white kids. I'm like, what? And then Deadshot comes on, and I'm like, please don't tell me they're making him Floyd Lawton, because if that is Floyd Lawton, I'm gonna look at Arrow and go, you know what, Arrow? At least you did a fucking awesome job at Floyd Lawton. Because they did perfect Floyd Lawton in Arrow.
Yeah.
That guy was perfect. He had the attitude. He had just the way he talked. You know, it was perfect. This one, it just seems like they got him in it because they wanted Will Smith in the movie. They wanted to kind of give him a more badass, like a badass persona, and they knew that his name would sell. They knew his name would sell that movie, and that pisses me off the most because that means they had no faith in that movie. If they casted him in that part, ugh.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's why I'm not looking forward to it.
Hang on, 2 seconds. I just noticed Jay is in the chat now, so
Yes.
say hello, Jay. Allen.
Did you hear me?
You're quiet, but we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what to do, so bear with me. Okay, is it better now?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay, I think I'm figuring it out.
Use technology to your advantage.
I'm trying.
We have the
Technology
technology.
is your friend.
I just don't have the. I guess I just need to work with it more. Figure it out.
It takes a little bit of finessing.
Yeah.
I'm like completely avoiding actually working on this comic thing because I'm just staring at the artwork right now. I'm just going, oh my god, I want to change all of the pages that I've already gotten pretty much done. I'm like, they look horrible. Like, even on this first page, as I'm looking over it again, I'm looking at some of these poses, like this, like her down here, and it looks like crap. Even her face on the side view looks like crap.
Don't do it. It's a slippery slope.
Like, I know I shouldn't care. I should just get the work done in the best that I can now, and just learn as I go. But unfortunately, the OCD starts kicking in, and I'm staring at it going,
How long have you actually been doing comics yourself, Eric?
Comic work specifically, probably only the last maybe 5 years.
Oh, right on.
As like an actual thing, because I mean, obviously, I've always been drawing comics as a kid, just from just coming up with random ideas and doing stick figure drawings. When I was a kid, I did the stick figure stuff, like stick figure comics, which were fun. But then I started actually learning how to draw, and so I did a lot of that crap. Unfortunately, like my first introduction to like comics that I could get a hold of were from my library, and they only had manga, so I was mimicking that a lot. But thankfully, I was still a huge fan of the Bruce Timm series of cartoons, so that steered me back on the right path of what I really love to draw.
Nice. Right on. Yeah, we talked about this in one of Kevin's last Hangouts, I believe. But I was thinking about going back and redrawing some of my first issue now that I've been revisiting it and doing the updates for my website. It's so hard to look back at that first issue because it's all of the artwork has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a trying process. I wanted to show this though. I just scanned that in today to put in the back of issue 4.
This is like a way of reminding. Like, see, we all start off like garbage.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think
it's definitely important to do that. You know, it's important to do reminders to yourself that I am getting better. Because I mean, just looking at what I'm doing now, I can already tell that I'm vastly superior to what I was even 3 or 4 years ago. So it's always good to look back and say, "Yay, I am getting better. I am figuring shit out." Even though consistency seems to be a problem.
Pretty much.
See here, like, the proportions I use for her, like, just seeing them next to each other, I can already tell, like, the proportions of what I just drew are a little bit more realistic compared to what I did here, which is a little more exaggerated.
Did you turn off your screen share?
Oh, no, I actually got, like, partially disconnected for a moment there. Thankfully, I got back on. So, yeah, I'm back. But, yeah, just looking at the proportions here, you can tell a vast difference. And this is, like, stupid because I haven't been drawing in, like, a couple weeks. And the problem is, whenever I come back, I default back to more of a slightly more proportionate style, like the one you're seeing here. Which I don't mind. It's good to know that I can draw a proportionate character. But I'm trying to remind myself that I'm trying to use a little bit more exaggeration with this specific comic. So I had to, like, reteach myself how to do the more exaggeration, which is annoying.
It's true, I get it.
Yeah. And my throat is severely dry. I need to go get my ginger ale, which I forgot to grab. So I shall return in a moment.
We'll hold down the fort.
As we pause for station identification.
How many other broadcasters are in here? Nobody else is in radio?
No.
No.
Does radio still exist?
Funny you say so, because it definitely does. I'm in the Midwest where it's very prevalent. But I went to school for it and everything else, and I believe my instructor's actually on it. Is actually watching us and me get drunk tonight. But for one, cheers for that.
There you go.
But every time I want to record a video, I always want to start out with, "You're listening to blah blah blah, and I'm blah blah blah." And yeah, it's a hard thing to break because I'm still 200 videos in and I still want to do it. So
Hey, it's good to have a intro that's the same. Like, it's good to do that because it kind of makes a set. Like, for me, if you watch any of my videos, I always say the exact same thing. Greetings, everyone, and then I say my name, and then we get into the thing. Like, I always start off the exact same way. Ginger ale.
With real ginger.
Oh god, I love Schweppers. Schweppers. I like most ginger ale. I like Schweppers. I love Canada Dry, and I like Seagram's. Those are like the 3 real good ones.
You'd imagine there'd only be one way to make ginger ale, so it's hard to mess it up.
Well, I mean, there's also like any other things you decide to throw in it.
No,
Because
fair
of course they use ginger, but the other things they use is like depending on how they use like this one uses corn syrup. It's got caramel color, which is kind of interesting. Depending on how much of the syrup you put in, how much of the citric acid you put in, even the way you prepare your the ginger for partial brewing to get it into the liquid form to use as flavoring, it can change the flavor.
Fair enough.
I mean, hell,
That's
I have
what
in
went
my
wrong. They didn't
in
add
my
Marianne.
fridge. In my fridge, I have kind of the cheap. It's a 3-liter bottle, but it's only like $1 because it's like the store brand shit, and it tastes nowhere near as good as this stuff. But I like to have it on hand because I deal with a lot of stomach issues, and ginger ale is great for stomach problems.
Mm-hmm.
This video brought to you by ginger ale.
Drink responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
And rum.
Especially if it's ginger ale and rum. Actually, Seagram's 7 and 7.
That's a winning combination, also.
Yep.
But why is the rum gone?
Or honey jack. Put a little honey jack in it, and that'll really get you warm.
It's true.
So what is everyone working on tonight?
I'm procrastinating by drawing a female character.
Sounds good.
I'm working on page 11, panel 1, which I've been working on for like 2 months.
Oh my gosh, you're still working on that one.
Yes.
She actually said it earlier.
Yeah.
She said it earlier, but if you see the magazine rack, it's because she's drawing one of yours, and it's taken so long to...
I was wondering, I thought that looked familiar.
They're right there. Right there. There's a little...
That is so cool. I was looking, I was like, that kind of looks like my lady, but I didn't want to come out and say anything. But you're really putting some time into each of those. Is it stick cats? Is it stick cats?
Yeah. So Stick Cats is by a buddy of mine, Nick Marino.
Uh-huh.
And he's doing some he writes a lot of comics, but he's actually he's drawn some himself. So Stick Cats is one because it's an easy thing to draw, a stick cat. And right next to it is over here is, can't really read it, but it's a Super Haters, and I did the cover for that. That's on Comixology now.
Oh, cool.
That's what that is.
That's neat. And then is that I Never Forgot next to that?
Yep,
Noah's
you got
project?
that one. Got a little flaming carrot action.
Oh, all right.
We've got Space Cat down here. Of course, turtles, because you know I love turtles.
Long live the
Cat, for
turtles.
anybody who knows what that is.
And then I think I saw Monkey Mom. Samurai Cat.
Yep, Samurai Cat.
Why does that sound familiar?
That was back in the 90s. They came out with that book.
Samurai Pizza Cats?
No, just Samurai Cat.
Oh.
I think I may have a copy of that somewhere.
I have copies of it. Oh, you know what I should do? I should do a Saga Yojimbo in here somewhere.
Nice. Very nice indeed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's say a little Too Much Coffee Man. Yeah, Monkey Mod.
Uh-huh.
And got The C in You. Which is another indie comic. And I'm working right now. I'm working on this one. I'm working on adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
I just recently got the first issue of that.
Yeah.
It was
Parody
not
of a
what I was
parody.
expecting, but it was a good read. So
Parody of a parody.
that's a Don Chin, right? The
Let me
creator.
see. Yes.
Okay,
Yep, because I actually had the copy of that right in front of me.
awesome.
Trying to get some indie stuff in here.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I can't even tell you the amount of people I've found from your retweets of other awesome creators.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like Jesse Sharon, who's the one who did the Seeing You.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cheers. What I am working on tonight is emailing 1,000 people, telling them about my 4th Kickstarter.
Nice.
Very awesome, awesome. You've really got your stuff organized.
It's getting better. I think next year is gonna really. I can strap my stuff, but I think this one's definitely. I think I rushed launching it, but then again, I was probably a half a week behind of when I wanted to launch it. So this whole November is just gonna. If I don't end up in a grave, I'll be surprised.
Well, let's hope not.
Oh no, I'm too strong for that shit.
Strong like ox.
Cheers for my strength.
That's right.
I am strong like bull.
Yeah, I didn't realize how. I mean, I know creating comics can be stressful, but I didn't realize how emotionally stressful it can be as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, putting your
You
stuff
have
out there,
no idea.
hoping people like it, and you know, just I don't know, just it changes you.
True. 100%. But then you get over that hump, and then it's a whole new day, and then you know you're staring down that barrel in another couple months.
Gluttons for punishment.
Yep.
You can do it.
All we want to do is share our stories with the world. Why
Right.
won't they give us money?
What? We're supposed to make money? What?
That's what somebody told me, but I'm pretty sure they were a liar.
Either that or just an endless supply of groceries. That's all I think I would really push for.
I mean, that worked too.
Just fill up the fridge. I'll sneak out of the room once in a while for some food. Put all the Mountain Dew in my mini fridge next to the table. Ooh, that reminds me. I need to save up this winter for a mini fridge.
It's a solid purchase.
So would you keep it next to your workstation, your desk?
If I did, I would then like do something on top of it to like prop up another shelf where I can hold stuff for my desk.
Oh.
'Cause I've got all this multitudes of crap just all over the place. I'm sure everybody else can relate, but it's like we'll just put stuff down there for now.
There you go.
Get back to it.
Deal with it later. We got important things to do, like make comics.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to design a version of the cat girl according to how everybody else sees her, except for the main characters. Main characters see her as an actual cat girl, ears and tail are attached. But everybody else sees her as a either a cosplayer or just someone that, like, for some silly reason likes to dress up like a cat.
So you're kind of dealing with different realities of what people see.
Yeah. Hitting it true from home. Okay.
What about you, Jay? What are you working on?
Well, after I posted my update to the 100s group, I had an idea for a quick little comic strip that I'm throwing together tonight, and I started roughing out some ideas for it, trying to get the facial expressions, and so I'm just kind of playing with it, trying to get it the way I would like, the way I see it inside my head. If that makes any sense. You know how you see something in your head and it's totally awesome, and then you try putting it on paper and you're like, what just happened? So I'm trying to I'm trying to pull it from my head and stick it on paper.
Well, better pulling it out your head than out your ass.
True.
Makes a good point.
Hey, whatever it takes to get the job done, right?
I think we've all had that moment. Like, shit, what do I do now? Comics have been making a living on that for ages. I can never figure out how to get this to work. Oh, I'm on the wrong... That tool? No, not that tool.
And you guys said this is on the 100s YouTube channel also?
What?
Or what's going on? The Google Hangouts elsewhere, right?
The Google Hangouts go on whoever's hosting.
Ah.
This is going out to the world? Oh, man.
Since,
All 0 viewers right now.
yeah.
We have how many?
As that my 12 followers have not drifted over, shame on them. Oh wait, I have to tell them I'm here.
Yeah, since Carrie's the host, it's up to her and her YouTube viewers at the moment.
Aha.
Not if I spam it again on my Twitter, then we might get 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, I think I'm good for that.
Thankfully, I follow you on YouTube, so it'll be easy to find.
Friday night, where is everybody?
Where is it? There's the Hangout. I always want to do it through YouTube, that way I can grab the actual YouTube watch link. Alright. Share to Tumblr.
So what form of social media you guys think is most responsive to when you put things out, responding to what you're doing?
Facebook for me.
I'm mostly a Tumblr person.
Man, I don't even know. Most of the time it's just like throwing a rock in a dark room. I typically hit all the sites and I'll probably get 3 or 4 likes per whatchamacallit, so.
Yeah, I think it depends on what specifically you're trying to do. I mean, my Google Plus account has like massive amount of followers, but I don't get much interaction on there. I get more interaction on, Twitter or Tumblr.
Especially now that Tumblr has decided, hey, let's add a chat feature.
Yeah. I haven't figured that out yet.
And we see a dog. Noah has a pup.
It's Friggy!
Puppy dog. He's like,
Say
wait,
hi,
is this live?
Say hi, Fridge. No. He's shy tonight. It's my little pup Fridge. He's pretty great.
He's like, yeah, that's right.
He's very unconcerned with the stream. So I'm feeling great. How about you guys?
Well, I can tell you're feeling great considering the pints you're putting down.
It's probably been a good month or so since I've drank, so I'm feeling pretty good. We've made it halfway, or so.
Oh, wow. I've got my water here.
I've got my
I didn't have time to make sweet tea, so I'm drinking some water.
It's alright, I'll carry us.
Okay.
Famous last words.
I mean, we might have to stop for a nap or so, but after that, we're good to go.
After that, we're peachy.
Alright, so back to the movie talk.
Oh, God.
I knew you were super excited about all the new actors. What are your thoughts on Scarlett Jo being in Ghost in the Shell?
That should be interesting.
That is interesting to me. I figured you would be completely against that.
Well, my thing is, I've never really got into Ghost in the Shell, so I have no emotional ties to the show. But I like the actress. You know, I've liked her, what she's been doing as, you know, Black Widow and all. And, I mean, she seems like a really competent actor. She's really good at what she's doing. From the other stuff I've seen that she's done, she's pretty good. From what I have seen of Ghost in the Shell, I think she can pull the character off, but I think the problem would come down to the writers, not her. You know, you can have the greatest actor or actress in the world, but if the writing is crap, there's just nothing you can do.
I 100% agree. To me, she always, or the character she's portraying always seemed like a white person in an Asian world. So it just made sense, I guess, to me. But I could see how they would be upset on not having an Asian actress in the role, considering it's very influenced against. It's completely different than the world we have here. So, I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see how.
That's the hardest thing about trying to adapt anything that is based on an anime. Like, trying to adapt an anime or a manga series is really hard because you really have to understand what was the manga based around. What was the story? What were the characters based on? Because even in stories like, in older stories like more historical type thing, or things that deal with more historical themes, like, I don't know if any of you know Rurouni Kenshin. In that story, they dealt with a lot of historical events and a lot of historical characters, but they did have a lot of American influence because it was during the time when the Western influence was really hitting home. So you did see a few of these people from America kind of walking around. So it wouldn't like boggle my mind if I saw a random white dude just walking in the background, you know, wearing a suit and top hat. But thankfully they were smart enough that, you know, it was made in Japan, so obviously the live action movie was done right. If they tried to do that over here, it would be really hard because a dominant amount of the actors would have to be Asian, because that's what a dominant amount of the portrayals would be. So it was better that story was done in Japan. With Ghost in the Shell, I don't know, because even like some of the characters, they don't look strongly Asian the way they're drawn. So you would have to say, okay, talk to the writer and say, okay, what was this character intended to be in this story? You know, like if a dominant amount of the characters are Asian, then as far as I'm concerned, that should probably be told in Japan. But if a lot of the characters are supposed to be based off of Western or even just mostly European characters, then you can get away with Hollywood making a movie, as long as the writers are competent enough to tell the story and to give off the same emotion, the same tone, the same characterization as the story did. You know,
have you seen the whole series of Rurouni Kenshin?
Oh yeah, I've seen the entire anime. I watched that one, a couple of the movies, and I read the entire manga multiple times. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite comics of all time.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. One of my favorites too. It'd be really awesome for them to tackle the Christianity arc and just
Oh
see
yeah.
everybody explode here.
Well, are you talking about the one movie?
I think it's like the third main arc after Shishio. It's the
Okay, so you're talking about the what was it? It's the one with Inishi in it. The final arc where he fights Inishi.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the manga or the TV series?
the TV series.
Okay, then never mind, because the TV never got to the final arc.
Yeah.
They never got to the final arc of the manga, which pissed me off because that was the best one. That was the best one because it told. You got to see Kenshin's backstory. You got to see all the stuff that happened with Tomoe, and then you got to see him fight Anishi when he's already kind of getting older and he's starting to wear down a little bit, but then he's still this great. It was great.
But to be fair, those OVAs are perfect.
Oh yeah, the Samurai X OVAs were beautiful. The animation was gorgeous to stare at, man.
That
Like,
whole
I'm gushing again.
story.
I apologize.
That's alright, I totally am too. The whole Tomoe story, like, I want a love that deep that I can be distraught about killing her someday.
Yeah.
Is that too wrong to say?
Tomoe was just... That was such a tragic story, though, man.
Absolutely.
Like,
But one of the most beautiful.
That explains so much. Like, the whole time you're watching the series, and you're getting used to Kenshin's character and all, and even him trying to deal with Kaoru and all, and them having this relationship building. Then you see those events transpire,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my god, it all makes sense.
Oh, this is
all
absolutely
makes sense
why
all of
you're
a sudden.
so messed up in the head.
Because that one moment just completely changed him so much.
Also, for those viewers not knowing what we're talking about, go watch the Samurai X. I believe it's Trust and Betrayal.
Yeah,
OVAs.
it's a two-part OVA series that talks about the events that happened back when Kenshin was still considered Batosai, before the event that basically caused him to make the shift to not wanting to kill anymore.
Pretty much a backstory. He was hired by the government to be an assassin for the government for the overthrow of their new government.
He was supposed to bring in the new Meiji era.
It's basically a transition from him being a manslayer to domesticated life, kind of.
From him being this very dark character to being this very goofy motherfucker.
If you want to know about storytelling, go watch those because
that is storytelling at its finest. The characterization and if you don't have time to really read all the manga or watch all the stuff, thankfully Japan did 2 amazing live action movies that kind of sum up the entire story in these 2 movies, at least most of it. They didn't do the final arc, which I really want them to, but they did a phenomenal job. The actors were perfect. They did their job great. The action, oh my god! I have never seen a live action movie that could actually capture some of the high intense moments of an anime.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
That was phenomenal watching that, man. Watching those fight scenes were just gorgeous.
That's really good to hear.
Why is Japan and China so fucking good at choreography, man? Oh, they're so good at it. Then you come here to America and they have to hire people from these other countries to get them to do the choreography.
Maybe that's where we need to all move, because I think they're leading some pretty good lives if they're just... You have all those other jobs that are very dire, but like they really celebrate their artists over there.
Oh yeah, comics over there is not quite as seen as such a negative as it is here in most cases. Like being an artist, and wow, I just realized how I really need to. I need to make those lines a little thinner because now they're blending in a little too much. Actually, you know what? I know what I'll do. Go forward. Give me all them back. I'll make the dividing lines here thicker. But yeah, like you go over there. I'm actually kind of curious. Have you seen the outrageous trailer for the next Itman movie
Yeah, I think
with
I'm
fucking
sure.
Mike Tyson in it?
Yes, I
Oh
have.
my god, I was fucking laughing so hard. I'm like, okay, at this point, you've given up with historical accuracy with Itman himself. You're just like, you know what? He's a character now. Let's have fun with him. Let's have him go up against Mike Tyson.
Well, they've
And
done
let's pretend that Mike Tyson would have a fucking chance in hell against this guy.
Well, because he's gonna bring justice to everybody.
It's your story where it's the Superman versus Muhammad Ali. It's just Red Sun era.
Yeah, really. Because really, if you ever get to see, I don't know if any of you have seen the Ip Man movies.
Oh, the first two are gorgeous.
Oh, the first two are great. Donnie Yen, fucking bless that man. He is so great. I love
I'll
Donnie
cheers
Yen.
that. Cheers, Donnie Yen.
Oh yeah, Donnie Yen is awesome. Great fucking actor. He did a great job portraying. And it's hard because now you're trying to portray a character who is so legendary, not just because of who he taught. Because yes, he was the master of Bruce Lee. He was the one who taught him Wing Chun. But he was a pioneer of Wing Chun itself. He was a great master at Wing Chun, and he lived a great life. So getting to see...
You're trying to tell the story of basically probably somebody that's the closest to being a god as anybody could be.
Oh yeah,
So
and it's just so great because they had like only one real good footage of him, and it was so sad because it had to be like when he was really old. He really couldn't move all that well, but he was still he was showing off some of the Wing Chun exercises and all, even though he was at that age where it was actually painful to do. So it was he's just such a great man. Plus he gave us fucking Bruce Lee. He gave us Bruce Lee, so...
I'm giving myself a pause, and I gotta put my dogs out and put them to bed, so I'll be right back.
I apologize again, because when I get excited about something, I start to geek out on it.
You're in good company, my man. No worries.
I get very passionate about things, and in both the good and the bad ways. Because earlier when I was talking about my problems with the Suicide Squad movie and all, I do get a little, worked up, but it's because I care so much about the characters. I care so much about them being represented. Basically, to people who go in blind, they don't know. Most of these people don't know who these characters are, and this is the first representation that you get. And I'm sitting here going, no, fuck that. Go read the comic. You will get a much better story.
Well, and that comes into a topic that I've been trying to bring up with a lot of industry folks in mainstream comics, at least, is how do we get comics back to where they were? As far as recognition, were they even there, or was it just comic shops over ordering in the 90s?
There was
top
that.
Comics right now, the top selling comics, I want to say it was August I was looking at, only 3 comic books broke 100,000 copies for diamond distribution on their orders. And, it used to be 500,000 to more or whatnot. But what do we do to make it more prevalent? And I'm actually kind of baffled. I've been talking to a couple different people. We see so many times in the case of the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, where you see the latest movie being advertised in a Marvel or DC comic, and you get to get that advertisement, you get to see a photo or whatever, a really nice image. And it got so common that everybody's, okay, yeah, cool. There's an advertisement, next to another advertisement for juicy fruit or something. I don't know. But what baffles me is we don't go into these comic book movies, and all of a sudden, none of this before you go see Batman versus Superman again, check out Greg Capullo's next edition of Batman, where he brings out the, they don't have like an advertisement for the comics, and I'm so baffled as to why that does not happen.
Yeah, like the most you get is obviously they have, by law, they have to give credit to the creator. Like Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster's names will always appear on anything that is related to Superman.
Right.
Which is that was the biggest. That was probably the biggest win for comics back then, was these creators finally getting the credit they deserved.
Agreed.
When Superman, the first Superman movie came out, and you just see in big bold letters, you see their names just pop up, based on the comic characters of Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. But it is kind of the point that you're making, is that they really do need to remember to cross-promote. They need to remember to tell these people, it's like, hey, these are based off of comic books, and we really want you to go read these comic books too. They're great. They're you can get if you love this movie, well, here's hundreds of issues that you can read of the character doing more cool shit, But they're not taking advantage of it, and there is a lot of business aspects that are starting to hurt comics a little bit, and it's really starting to affect the bottom line, which is, I think, because we're saturating it again.
Mm-hmm.
What happened kind of in kind of at the points of kind of the 80s and the 90s is when they oversaturated things because they thought everything was going to be collectible.
Right.
It becomes that same issue where it's like the market is flooded again, and it's great because you think this would be great at this point because we have so many comic book characters, we have so many good stories. But unfortunately, we also have a lot of bad ones. We have a lot of bad writers who are working on good characters. The biggest thing, anytime you read anything from like the New 52, it is horribly hit or miss.
Yeah.
To the point where you're sitting there reading this comic going, well, are you guys like hiring writers out of nowhere, like from like off the streets to do these stories? Like these are professional writers who are doing stories that just make no sense.
Yeah.
Stories that like all this bullshit where now Superman has a brand new fucking superpower. He can go thermonuclear and like release all of his solar energy in one big blast, and not kill himself in the process. All it does is weaken him to where he's like basically a human again. I'm like, really? What the fuck did that come from? And then Batman comes in and is like saying, "Oh yeah, I thought that might have been a thing." I'm like, wait, what? Whatever made you think that?
In the law of diminishing returns, you have to increase everything, but at the same time, there's not really. You can get more creative than just straight up like introducing a new, like Electric Superman in the '90s and all that stuff. I admire the kind of the stretch to try to create something new whenever they do that. But at the same time, there's a reason why some things are iconic, and I'm the kind of comic book fan that actually goes back and forth on just saying just end it, give them an end, start something new. But at the same time, I understand the business.
But it's a franchise character; they can't do that,
Exactly. Yeah.
They tried killing him off, but they knew that they wouldn't be able to keep it that way.
Right.
And they even tried bringing in these new characters, the rise of the Supermen, when they had Superboy trying to be something.
Yeah, Steel and Cyborg
They had
Superman.
Steel, they had Cyborg Superman, they had all this. They had that other guy. What was his fucking name? He was like he was like a robot as well, but he was full robot. Cyborg one was just a guy from like
That's right.
fucking issues long ago who like got trapped inside of a fucking computer. So it's just they tried, it failed, they brought him back. and that's the sad part, is that it came to that,
Yeah. And I mean, most of us check out, and we don't want it anymore. And then others are jumping on board, and that's what they're jumping on board with. Okay, and maybe, hopefully, they're buying back issues, supporting the shops. But at the same time, man, you got to have something that gets people saying, "Huh, now what happened before this?"
Yeah.
As well as, where's this going? I want to see more. It seems like an obvious thing. It seems like with all the comic book movies. I want to say, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think all of Marvel's movies worldwide have made over 500 million, and a piece of that
Marvel
pie
movies?
yeah, all of the from Iron Man going forward,
Oh,
Marvel
they've got to be
Studios.
in the billions.
Well, I mean, individually, like they just said that Ant-Man crossed
Oh yeah, I think
500.
I think easily they sail across that 500 million anymore.
So I mean, Ant-Man, it was riding close where it wasn't going to go over, and then it hit the China market and a couple others. A
Yeah,
little
I
bit
think
late in the
that's the
game.
big.
But point being, this is like they should be able to then toss some of that collective cheese back into marketing, and before we go see the next Marvel movie, remind us, now, Marvel just finished up their Secret Wars line. I mean, I don't have to be cheesy, but I'm just doing that because I like doing voices.
Yeah.
But, Marvel just finished up their Secret Wars. Now, see what they're up to with the new launching of blah, blah, blah. There could be almost not so much an infomercial aspect, but just something. That's what I miss about Stan's old soapbox stuff is as corny and cheesy as the guy was, he still got out there with the fans with the editorials and the soapbox and things. He brought us all in on it, so why not adapt that for the new age?
Yeah, and it's something that needs to be done, especially to keep comics flowing and alive. We need to keep it alive, and unfortunately, and it's becoming even it's becoming weirder because there is such a huge world now with comics, and it's not very noob friendly. Like people who are coming in completely blind, they've never read a comic ever, so it's hard for them to figure out where to start. It's why I understand why the New 52 happened. It gave a fresh start to everything, so that anyone who came in doesn't have to read 300 and some issues of something to get caught up. They can just start with issues 0 and up with all these characters. But at the same time, I feel bad because there were so many of those old stories that to me still hold up very well and are to me superior to most of the stuff I've seen being worked on right now. And it's just one of those games of just playing. It's like, well, how do I convince someone to try and find that story if it's not part of a trade already? If it's part of a trade, then they can get it and they can read it. But if it's not, it's really hard to convince them to do it. Thankfully, they do have wonderful trades that give you a lot of good comics. And thankfully, a lot of the big stories were already kind of events, so it's easier for them to have been, separated into these trades. Like the Civil War, you can get that in a trade. Anything with the Dark Knight stuff, you can get that in a trade. Killing Joke is its own book. Stuff like that. Secret Wars, the original one, you can get that in a trade now, where you can read the whole Secret Wars event. Blackest Night, Infinite Crisis, a lot of these things you can now read thanks to trades. And I highly suggest them, I highly suggest people to go read those because that's where you get some of your great stories.
Most definitely.
And that's where you get to see characters, that you don't really get to see because one of the things I love about this new age now is because of the way the TV is going. We have good shows like Arrow and Flash. Now, obviously, Arrow is not a show that I'm that fond of, but I will admit that it is a decent show, and it's decent enough that I can recommend it to people to watch. I prefer Flash. But the best thing about it is you're getting people who probably had no idea who these characters are. They probably have no idea who the fuck the Flash is. But because of this show, they now know who he is.
To be fair, I think Marvel is headed that direction where after Infinity War, they'll be able to link everything up. They're already starting to link. TV shows to the movies.
Oh yeah, they've
I
already.
think Infinity War is going to be big enough that they'll suck everybody in, and then everybody will want to go into the comics afterwards. So
Yeah.
I think Marvel has a plan, but I don't think DC is trying to cover lost ground because they're trying to catch up to Marvel right now.
Is just doing stupid moves. For one, to not allow the cinematic universes and the TV universes to be connected is so stupid. So stupid. Because you have this great show that, like for me, The Flash. Like The Flash. I love the actor they got to play him. I love the suit. I love the characters that support him, around him. They're great. I would love to see him in the Justice League movie. I would love to see that Flash in the movie.
See, and that's what the ground they have to cover right now is they have to build everybody up to make them want to see a group movie. Where I think if they just did a Justice League movie, that everybody would be on board. But they want to do the origins for everybody just to try and make more money, and it's like I think it's going to hurt them in the long run.
Really forced cameos.
Mm-hmm. Have you caught any of the Supergirl on CBS?
I haven't, and the only reason I haven't yet is just because she was never a character I was really all that fond of. I didn't really care about Supergirl. The only iteration of Supergirl that I actually liked was from the animated universe that Bruce Timm created. I think she was a really good character there. And she was fun. She was a very fun character, and when they put her in Justice League Unlimited, I was all for it. I was like, you know what, I love this character. Let her, stay. I do plan on watching the 3 episodes that are available.
Yeah,
just because I'm curious enough. Because the thing I liked is that Superman is canon in that universe. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, thank you. I have more respect for you now. You didn't try to pretend that he doesn't exist, that he's not a thing, and that she's like the only Kryptonian to ever exist now. I'm like, thank you for doing that. You have earned some of my respect.
Mm-hmm. I've caught 20 minutes of this last episode, and yeah, it looks really good. And obviously, it being on CBS, it has to be up to a certain level to be on network TV because they're just throwing. It seems to be they're throwing their B-list characters shows like on CW, which was the origins of Superman and Arrow and Flash.
Which you should be a little careful when you say B-list. It may work for Arrow, but Flash is technically one of the A-list characters.
Yeah, for sure.
He is a leading member of the Justice League.
I think he equates to B-list just because they had the one series with him, and not many people were keen on watching it. So
even though it was a cool series.
Oh, absolutely. I think I definitely watched that and like.
Also, I love
Lois Clark.
His father. I love it. I love it.
Sure.
The Flash from the '90s show is his father, and I'm like, yes, that's awesome. Sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
I don't know. I'm excited for Marvel to get to that endpoint, but I hope DC can get there too because I don't want to be one side or the other. I want to be rooting for both teams, but DC is making some really terrible moves right now. Yeah,
like to me, they're at the moment. For a while, they were superior in the TV shows. Like DC had this TV going, but the thing is, I don't know how to count Daredevil because it was a Netflix exclusive. So do I bundle that in as a TV series, or do I say no, that was a digital only? Like that's a hard gray area.
So that's what I'm thinking is like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, like those ones are like the CW for Marvel.
Yeah.
Whereas
I'm looking forward to Luke Cage,
Shield, Agents of Shield, and the other one are like the CBS premieres of their heavy hitters, which is basically just Coulson.
Pretty much. That was just a reason to use Coulson again.
Pretty much.
But I do love that they're doing. I don't know Jessica Jones that well, so I can't really get all excited. But I do like that they're doing it. I am pumped for some Luke Cage and Iron Fist, though. I love Luke Cage. He is so cool.
What was I think they greenlit Punisher too for Netflix.
Yes, and I can't wait for fucking Daredevil season 2 because he makes an appearance.
That's the only downside to the whole Punisher situation is where it has it that they're going to delay Iron Fist in favor of a Punisher series.
I know, and that sucks because Iron Fist kind of deserves his shining moment.
Oh, most definitely.
Because Punisher had 2 movies. He had one really good one, which is the first one. Second one, eh.
For sure, Thomas Jane is that role. Like, I think he plays such a great Punisher.
The actor from the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the that, like, little short YouTube video?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of him as Punisher, like, just going into... Like, you don't even know what it is. He's just going into some place...
Yeah, when he's doing laundry?
Yeah, he's doing laundry. He gets a bottle of milk. And he's like, no, I'm not... None of the hard stuff. And he's, And then all this bullshit's going outside with these guys, like, basically terrorizing this one dude's, I guess, ex-girlfriend or something. And he's, like, trying to ignore it. He's trying to ignore it. And then finally he's like, all right, fuck this. He goes in, gets a bottle of Jack Daniels. You think, oh, he's just going to drink it because he's tired of seeing all this bullshit, so he's just going to drink it. No, walks up on the motherfucker, beats the dude, fucking living the hell out of these people with a bottle of Jack.
Which, I don't know if you've ever been hit by a bottle, but
no,
it
those
does
bottles are
not
solid.
give.
Yeah, those are solid. Like, you are not, like, it's not like other movies where you hit him in the head and it shatters, like fucking powder. No.
Yeah, it was definitely not a sugar bottle.
No.
Clank.
And then the end of that was so great. Like, just the way he looked at him, he's like, do you know what the difference between, justice and punishment? And he just, because he doused the dude in the drink. Like, he's doused this dude and it looks like he's about to set him on fire. But he puts the lighter down first and walks away. And then the girlfriend that they were beating up walks up, picks it up, and just throws it on the dude. I'm like, Punisher! Yes!
Yeah.
I want him
Cheers
back.
to Thomas Jane and the Punisher.
Yes. Yes. All the yes for that. I want him back.
Did you watch the director cut of the Punisher?
I did not get to see that, and I kind of want to, though.
Listen to me. You need to. Because it's such a better movie than the actual movie.
Which is hard. That's kind of hard to say because that was a damn good movie.
Listen, when you see it, you'll know what I mean, but they fill in just a little bit more. I think it's maybe 20 minutes longer, but they fill in so much more in that 20 minutes that really gives it some more feet to walk on and, like, such a better movie.
I'll have to check that out, man. That intrigues me now.
I'm telling you, man. You can thank me later, but know that you need to do it.
I will do it. I still need to also. I want to check out the director's cut for the Daredevil movie, because I hear that some people actually say that, you know what, if you watch the director's cut, it's not actually that bad.
Yeah, it's a better flow.
Yeah, and that annoys me because a lot of people, I think, harped on Ben Affleck because of that movie. I'm like, he was not the problem with that movie. He was not the problem.
The problem for me, I enjoyed it, but the problem for me was the oh gosh, how do I say it? Like, they put a little fan service in there. They're talking about, like, Bendis and Quesada and stuff like that. And that was kind of cool. But the thing is, it's like, it seemed like it rode between. The reason X-Men did so well, in my opinion, was, like, it didn't insult the audience, whether it was comic book fans or people that were new to the property. You go into that world believing that that's possible and there, and you're on the ride, let's go. And Daredevil kind of still rode that line between having that realism, believing that somebody could really do it, but also almost having that campiness of the whole, the cliche of comics that the 60s Batman TV show instilled in everybody's minds, which is great and all for everybody that was into that version of Batman, but I think a lot of people don't realize, like, how much it actually put in everybody's minds how Pow Bam Biff comics are.
Yeah, and I think that the problem that came from that show really is, yes, they went full on camp with the original, with that Batman show, and it sucks because it fit the comic of the time. Because this was during the big Comics Code bullshit, where they were trying to make it more friendly to the, make basically just shut the parents up. And it wasn't until finally Frank Miller said, "You know what? Fuck that. I want to bring it back to the darkness," and he gave us Dark Knight Returns, which finally brought him back to his roots. It gave us this really dark, foreboding character again. It gave us some good commentary of the characters, and it allowed future writers to basically be like, "Hey, we can do this again. We don't have to be scared to write a dark character in a dark way." That's just how it is. And so that's what allowed things to get back to normal. And then eventually, obviously, the Comics Code just being completely gone now. And that's what also allowed us to have the 90s. Even though I don't like the 90s for a lot of what it did, it really just it stupefied comics for a little while. But it did give a lot of newcomers the ability to try their own way. When you had McFarlane, Liefeld, Lee, I can remember Will Spataccio and all them. When you had them all just these young guns who were trying to do something great.
Yeah.
And trying to show that, hey, there is something new. There's something different.
Was that when Image got started?
Yeah.
That was
talking about
1992.
a little before that, because Todd was still doing
right
Spider-Man.
when basically when they realized they could be doing this on their own and
Oh yeah, because they realized how much they were selling the comics now. Because
Yeah, for sure.
Because it wasn't just they got to the point where they could actually have these good writers hook up with these great artists and put out these really interesting stories. The artwork was so much more, I guess, edgy for the time. And it was the birth of a lot of the newer age comics. Jim Lee was the forefront of what we consider now to be the new age of comics. He was the foothold. He was the guy who started really that look that we think of now.
Yeah.
Him and Todd and Wilsh are the ones who really started that whole thing.
And Silvestri, yeah.
Yeah, it gave us that. Now, as much as I'm not a big fan of it, and I obviously don't draw in that style, I appreciate what it did. It showed that you didn't have to draw everything the same. It opened up a whole new world to newer, younger artists to want to pick up the pen and paper themselves.
Yeah.
The only reason I bring up the Image is because I don't know if anybody watches Comic Book Girl 19 on her latest plopcast, which she basically just talks about the week's worth of comics. She mentions the Image Revolution, which I believe is coming to DVD in January, but it basically tells a story of them starting up Image. So.
Yeah, I got the digital copy. It's brilliant to a point. I enjoyed everything about it. It does what a lot of documentaries do that I have a problem with, though, where they tell you up to 3/4 of the story in the history and the continuity of the history, and then for some reason that last quarter, in let's say in the case of Image Comics, these last 8, almost 10 years, there's not really much there. And I honestly think that's important because where Image Comics now is as a publisher, giving people a chance to create their own book.
If you look at what Image is now, hell, Todd barely does comics anymore.
Yeah.
His big thing is to do his toy line. Even though Spawn is still out, he's not really the forefront of Spawn anymore.
Right.
To be fair, I think the last decade is where they started getting a lot newer people, where that first decade was basically just them.
It was just these young guns who wanted to do something for themselves finally and say, hey, why don't we do it, and why don't we be the guys who are all for the creator-owned aspect. And that's what they were for. They wanted the artists to be able to say, hey, we can write stories too. And they still do it to this day. If you go on their website, you can still submit to them and try to get yourself published through them.
Well, and then the format I always try to remind people is that they, if you have a book, they'll publish it within requirements, and requirements are that you and your team are steady, and that you've got a couple issues in the can already, and there's percentages involved, of course, by having them publish and do a small advertising press, but for the most part, that's what I like about comics these days in general. Is what you got Image Comics, you got other small press publishers out there. We have a bunch of us that are doing web comics. Anybody could do a comic these days. So now the focus is, can anybody do a good comic, or subjectively good to the masses?
Which, side note, I can't wait till all of us have our own Image deal.
There you go.
I've actually, weirdly enough, because of some of the things I've had to deal with, just thinking about a lot of the whole money situation. Like if you start making a lot of money, well, now you have to deal with a lot of the crap the adults have to deal with. Paying taxes and stuff like that. And one of the things
hire someone to do that for you.
Well, you still have to keep up with it. You still have to keep up with making sure you keep track of everything you're spending and stuff like that. But one of the things I kind of was introduced to a little bit on a funny note is the concept of setting up what is known as an LLC, which is basically just having your own license to say that you have a small company or a small business. And it made me kind of think about this idea of what it would be like to have, not only is it your comic book, it's written and drawn by you, but having your company name on the top. You're so used to seeing Image or Dark Horse or DC or Marvel. What if it was yours up there? And
I'll let you know around April.
It's something I'm actually considering doing myself, and maybe even trying to drag in some of my personal artist friends that I know, who I know are trying to do some stuff. I was like, some of my close friends, if we can all get together and do stuff like that, that'd be really cool. Now, obviously, I don't know a printing I don't know a personal printing company. I would probably go through a digital service, print on demand service like Kaplam or something like that. But it would just be kind of cool to not have to be basically to be my own company. It's just the idea of that.
Trust me, there's no better feeling when your box of books shows up and you have your little comic book tag in the upper corner.
Yeah.
It's the best.
And you never know what comes from that kind of stuff. You don't know what's going to come from that. You might be the next small comic book company. Who knows? But it's just kind of that a funny idea that I was kind of throwing around in my head as I've been working on some of this shit. Just what would that be like? So
I'm looking forward to it next year. I'm not looking forward to the taxes aspect of it, but we'll deal with that when it comes.
Hey, as long as you got a good tax person, you should be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely recommend a CPA if anybody hasn't got one.
CPA?
Yeah. Certified personal accountant.
Oh.
If you don't do taxes yourself.
Sorry, you have to make sure you find someone that knows what they're doing, too.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I haven't signed up for one because of that reason. Because none of them.
Isn't taxes just easy and just plugging in numbers? I think anybody can handle this stuff.
There you go.
Well, it gets a little more complicated when you're dealing with a business, because now you have to think about deductibles and everything that you technically can claim, without seeming a little, greedy.
Yeah.
Because obviously, for me, I know exactly what I can claim because of the way I'm situated. I'm obviously, if I was doing my own comic books, everything that I have to consider an expense to creating my comic and keep my business alive is technically, you can deduct a percentage of. If I have my name on the internet bill, which right now it's not, I'm living with my father, I have my own office though. But if I were to tell him, hey, I'm making enough money to do this, let me take care of that bill, put my name on it. Now it's in my name, Now, if I have the business, it is considered a deductible. I can get a percentage
Just
of
make that money rain. Money rain.
Anything I have to purchase from a business. If my tablet breaks and I have to buy a new one, that's percentage of that can be deductible. Any supplies I have to buy, percentage of that is deductible. There are certain things like that you can take advantage of that help you keep the business from being overburden and over encumber with all this crap that you have to deal with. And especially if you can make a living out of it. Like, if you can really make it work, then it becomes a little easier on your mind to just kind of, not have to overly think about, oh my God, what am I going to do for next month? How am I going to get this to work?
Right.
Which, right now, I just want to be able to make enough money that I can awkwardly, proudly say I have to pay taxes. Because that's a bit of a standpoint. Because in order to, like, the level in certain states of when they consider you to, when the IRS is going to be like, hey, start paying, is around like the 10 grand a year mark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm fine then. We're good.
Yeah, like that's the mark where they actually really, like, they're more willing to come after you and bust your balls about it.
Let's see them try. I mean, if you're watching IRS, don't
Yeah,
try.
yeah. Do not fuck with the IRS. They will fuck your life over.
Stuff.
10 grand. I don't think I've made 10 grand in 15 years on my
Exactly.
art.
Like I think this year, once I get my $1,000 check from Curious.com, I might almost break 2 grand for the whole year. Like, and that's taking into consideration if me counting Skillshare, me counting YouTube, that kind of stuff. So
Nice. Well, with the 4 Kickstarters, I'm done. If this last one's successful, that'll put me at probably about the 3 grand mark.
yeah, and that's
But
a little.
All of that's gone towards books, so.
Yeah, but that's a gray area, really, because
Trust me, yeah, I'll find out his name.
It's all about whether they consider that income.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there is a thing, where you can claim as a gift, someone gifting you the money. But it does come down to that gray tone of what they consider income, because it's a very blanket statement. Income to them is any money you are making for some product or service that you're providing. So that's, again, that's a huge gray area.
Yeah.
Do they consider a crowdfunding income? Because technically it's a crowdfundation. It's people donating to you, gifting you this money to help you with whatever you're trying to do. But if you are producing a product in the end and you're giving rewards, now you're coming across that gray area where you say, do you try to fight and say that you're technically giving them a gift back in return, so it's just a gift, and it's it's not a commerce, or do you bite the bullet and just deal with the fact that you're going to have to owe the money? Like, it's or are you going to bank on the fact that you're probably going to have that low percentage chance that you're not even going to be dealt with? Because it is a low percentage chance whether they are going to deal with you. Like, they don't have the manpower to do it.
From what I've seen is, as long as you put the money you receive towards what you're working on in your art, basically, they don't look at it. But see, this November run is going to be a little tricky because I have to spend that money in December, which I won't get the funds till mid-December, which will put me in a very tricky situation to get it to the printer and get them to me so I can claim the rest of it for shipping. So
yeah, it's one of those sticky situations, unfortunately, that you have to deal with, and it sucks. It fucking sucks. But it all comes down to what you're doing, how you're doing it, and basically knowing when to pick a battle. And that's the biggest thing. Know when to pick your battle. If the IRS really, because here's the thing, there's a hugely low percentage chance that they're ever going to care. And there's a low percentage chance that it'll ever even blip on their radar, because it's being dealt through, Kickstarter and all.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes down to that point where don't make a fuss about it. Be prepared, know what you would have to do, and mentally go, okay, let me look at how much money did that make me, how much money did that budget me for the year, let me see what bracket that puts me in, what's the percentage that that tax would be considered off of for that year. And then mentally go, okay, I need to save this much for if that happens, and if that's a thing. And then obviously when the year comes in, you don't have to, you know, that's when you kind of hope you don't have to deal with it.
I don't think I have to worry too much. I was just looking at Jake Parker's earlier, and he's got 15 or 1,300 backers, and he's sitting at like 66 grand, which is a number I can't even fathomably understand.
Yeah.
But when he has to deal with that in the next couple weeks, it's like, good luck, buddy. I have no idea what those numbers mean, and I don't want to know for a while.
I think anything under 10 grand puts you in the 10% bracket, I believe. So, yeah, 10% is not that big of a deal in the long run.
Yeah.
Depending on how much you made. Now, obviously, if you make $3 grand for the whole year, that's $300 in income tax that you would have to pay. And that's even fluctuating because in the end they end up taking more than they need anyway, and that's why you get your tax return because you're getting back what they overtook for each month. So it's a sucky situation. The IRS is really not set up that great. You just got to deal with it if it happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen and you don't have to deal with it.
True. I will be right back.
Yep.
Escaping.
Yeah, he's escaping. The weirdest part about me in the gray area that I was actually researching was Patreon, because that's an ongoing service. It's not just a one-time fund of whatever it is you're doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when that gray area gets really, really gray. Because there are a lot of people who are trying to fight to say that it shouldn't be considered income. But unfortunately, you really don't have any justification for it not being considered income, because these people are paying you every month for what you do. Whether it be you putting out your comics, even if you put the comics out themselves for free, they're still technically funding your ability to do that.
Right.
And you do set up rewards for them. You have either streams that you give them that are private, artwork that you might draw specifically for them. They can make requests and stuff, you know. So that's when that gray area, unfortunately, kind of gets removed. And that's the one thing I'm kind of worried about. God, I can't keep my throat clear. Because I am thinking of I want to start my Patreon up and promote it and try to get that working, because right now I am in a bit of a luxury where money is only an issue for myself personally and not for the living situation of everyone in the household, because it's just me and my father. He technically makes enough. He makes more than enough to cover everything. But the problem is, as I'm getting older and he's getting older, I want to be able to eventually be the head of household when that time eventually comes. So one of the things I want to do is I want to be able to make enough through Patreon to afford doing stuff. You know, even if I can make like $1,000 a month, you know, that would now of course that would put me up into the bracket of 10% income tax that I would have to deal with, which I'd be fine with. 10%, you know, that's not a lot. That's not too bad to deal with. I would either personally do it monthly, or I could just do it quarterly. But it would put me in a situation where I would be more comfortable, because one, I would feel less like a burden. Two, it would actually kind of make me feel like I'm actually doing something, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm actually making a living at what I'm doing. You know, like it's I know it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it is kind of a bit of a I don't know what the proper word would be. um, reassurance that everything I'm doing is working to the end that I want it to work.
Yeah, it brings a sense of validation to what you're
Validation,
doing.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, like, for some reason, that word wasn't popping into my brain.
No worries. My 2 words of this year is validation and subjectivity.
Yeah. Because in the end, obviously, I want this to be my career. I don't want it to just be a hobby.
Right.
This is a career path that I chose for myself. Because fucking hell, I can't do anything else. But it's just one of those things. And Patreon would be the one thing that would allow me to do it and allow me to continue doing my work and not someone else's. Which is kind of the biggest thing, is I don't want to have to just do someone else's work. I don't want to have to... I mean, it's one thing if you like the writer and you get along with the writer, you love the project, and you're doing the project, and it's fun. But it's another thing when you're trying to find any project to work on just to fucking make ends meet and pay bills. And that's the one thing I really didn't want to get... I don't want to get trapped in that. And thankfully right now I kind of have that luxury where I'm not having to worry about that, but I know I'm going to. So I want to get it caught early. I want to take care of it early and remove it from the equation.
Yeah, no, that's good thinking, because for me it's, I want to say 20 years ago. I'm 37. So at 17, going on to 18, I had a general thought of, I'm going to go work in comics. And that was as much as I put thought into it. So I'm one of those stereotypical people that the Image founders said, okay, dude, got to work on some stuff here. And
yeah.
But what that led to was, so for the past 15 to 20 years, I've done a lot of hit and miss with things. Done small projects here or there. I've done 7 pages for a small press book back in 2004, I think. So I haven't really done too much. And aside from life just happening, I then started kind of thinking back about things, and realized that all those years ago, I didn't really want to work for Marvel or DC. I didn't want to work for a company because I would then have to draw what they want me to draw.
Yeah.
And that was a moment of contention for me. That's where I realized that I'm not so much of a commercial artist. I'm just an artist. I'm an artist that likes to do his own thing. And so I kind of pass that along to a lot of other folks that stop by my table at conventions, and they're wanting to start into comics, and I'll give them that little pep talk. What do you want to do? Do you want to work for someone, or do you want to do your own thing? And so Patreon, getting kind of wrapping into what you're talking about, Patreon. I'm a couple months into mine, and I think I'm getting like $12 a month, and I can't complain about that. I've got 4 or 5 really good, strong supporters that have been still sticking with me despite my ups and downs.
Hey,
over
that's
the
takeout
years.
money.
Yeah. Hey, I can't complain at all, and it's like my bank account's been $1 or $2 over at the end of the month. That boosts it right back up. Yeah. But the cool thing is I'm not deluding myself in thinking that I'm going to get thousands of followers overnight or over the course of 2 weeks or a month. But one of the kind of end goals for me is to get probably a good 3,000 people willing to contribute $1 towards my campaign. And that's where I'm heading now. Starting with Phoenix Fan Fest, I'll be advertising it a little bit more heavily. But my goal is not so much to get people donating large amounts, but to get a large amount of people donating just $1.
Yeah, and that's actually probably the best way to go about it, to be honest. And that's the one thing I would like the best thing to do when you if you're trying to tell people to or ask people to follow you is remind them that all you have to do is donate $1 a month, and you are a Patreon of mine. You are helping.
Exactly.
Now, yes, they are reminded that there are probably going to be some higher tiers, like rewards that are going to be saved for higher tier people. But as long as you let them know that there are things that they are going to get priority over, just for being a $1 a month person, is great. That makes them feel like it's worth supporting. So because it is hard to tell someone to just donate something to you that they're not going to get an immediate reward for it. Now, obviously, for comic artists, you can say, well, hey, as long as people are donating, I can afford to give my comic out for free. You guys can just read it whenever you want online. Right. And like for me, I can also do things where I can do my live streams on Picardo. I can do requests of like characters they want me to draw, stuff like that. I could even give them like early looks at the comics, like let them get it. They'll get it released to them first. You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And all of that helps.
With that being said, do you guys do newsletters to people?
I did not. That's where one of my slips is constant communication with everybody. But that just goes into a whole downward spiral about my depression and stuff.
We all been there. At least I have been, so I'm there with you.
Yeah, I've been dealing with depression for the last 7-8 years. You know, I have good and bad days.
Yeah, I actually found in initially talking to Peter Palmiotti and us talking about like Google Groups and then moving into the 100s and starting up some of the videos I did start a couple months ago when I first initially was introduced to you guys. It became a good boost for me because like I just did a video last night, probably 2-3 o'clock in the morning after waking up again, where I just basically poured it all out, and I'm probably never gonna put that on my YouTube, but it was one of those things where I did the video as if I was going to do it on my YouTube, and you know, kind of pour everything out and be transparent about who I am, what's going on, what I'm dealing with, because part of it is kind of that cheap therapy, really.
Oh, for sure.
And then the other part is trying to be transparent to the folks that are sticking with me. You know, I don't consider myself, you know, someone that is that out there to the world that people know me, that I'm giving them that secret window to my life. But I do hope that like what I'm going through, if I could talk about it, that it helps others do the same thing. So it's kind of a help me, help you, help me kind of thing about doing these videos now.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, like I was saying, I was at ACON this last weekend, and right in the middle of it, huge just depression spike, and like,
yeah,
I had to fight through that and pitch my comic the next day, in which I didn't have a good weekend, but like that Monday was just torturous, and at least I recorded some bits, and that video will be up in a couple days.
Nice.
As soon as I bite the bullet, but
yeah, I feel you.
I think we as artists all know that plague, but if you don't, I appreciate you checking out our stuff because you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's a real trip because it's like I don't want to necessarily be like, oh, well, obviously he's depressed. He's an artist, you know. Nobody understands what he's doing, you know, except him. But at the same time, yeah, it's just kind of like, well, it's true. My head's up in the clouds, and it
I don't think I've ever thought of it like that, but watching other artists' stuff, like I can see that they deal with some of that stuff too. And thankfully, I'm not on the level where I'm that known that I'm getting such negative feedback, but like, I hope to be there someday. And I know that the spikes will be incredibly different than they are now, but hopefully I'll be able to deal with them at that point, so.
Yeah, really.
Cheers
and that's,
for being an artist.
And that's all you can really hope for, really. I mean, it's the hardest part being being a crafter in any field, really, because even as because I'm not just an artist. You know, I'm also a bit of a music nut. I'm a bit of a musician. I used to write songs and poetry. I've played in a few bands here in Delaware, and it becomes kind of a common theme that there is that fine line in artists' lives where you have to feed off of something. You know, that's where the creativity comes from. It comes from being able to unlock your emotion and your flow of thinking. But unfortunately, that makes you much more susceptible to mental problems of depressions and anxiety and stuff like it makes you more susceptible because you're much more in tune with your creative side, which is more closely related to your emotional side.
Yeah.
So it creates a spiral of problem because now you have this great creativity, but then there's the tragic side of it. And then the more talented the person you usually see, that the more problems they're going to have. And then of course you still have the people who are very lucky with what they do. I mean, sometimes when you see some artists, it's not quite as much of a problem to them. Like they still have their moments of doubt, and they still have that just comes with the territory. But for some reason, they don't seem to have to deal with the much more severe side of things, which, and you can kind of see it because like let's say guys like Jim Lee, you see, I mean, he never seems to really deal with the severe side of things. Like he has his anxiety sometimes. He'll have his moments of doubt and tension, but you never really see him go through. At least he's never talked about going through any of the real heavy sets of depression.
Could you imagine if the internet was around back in those days where we could actually see them put their thoughts just out on the internet like we are able to?
Oh god, yeah. Oh my god, things would be. I would feel so bad for poor Liefeld.
I would feel so much better about the predicament that I'm in, seeing them dealing with the same shit.
Oh yeah. I mean, hell, look at some of the guys back in the old days. Hell, we were talking about Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Look what they had to deal with growing, as they were getting older and older, and the money stopped coming because they couldn't work anymore. And
not only that, could you imagine being Kirby and Stan Lee, trying to just throw this into the public and having them hope that they like it?
Yo, God. Oh, man.
I would like to see those YouTube videos.
Well, we still do, because Stan still makes his YouTube videos. And they're fucking hysterical.
You're believers?
It's true.
Excelsior.
I think they were born in the eras that they were born in, and it was just right for them. It worked for them, and it was what they belonged in. I don't think they would have worked quite as well in our age. It would have been too different. It would have been too easy for them to get shaped by the media and shaped by the common viewpoints of every other person, wanting to chime in and try to control what they're doing, and that's a real big problem, especially guys like Jack Kirby, because you looked at his artwork as he progressed, as he got older, and you see something changed in him as he got older and as he started being a lot more free with his work, because he'd always been a great artist. He'd always been really good at showing action, and that was something that was really hard for comic artists at the time to do, was show movement and action and just this amazing explosion of dynamic feeling on the page.
Yeah.
But then you get to his times when he was working on things later on, like even past Fantastic Four and all, and Thor and all. When he was doing the New Gods, he was putting out work that no one was. You just didn't see the shit that he put on paper.
Yeah.
Like, it just baffled people, and it allowed people like Steranko to come out and do the pop culture stuff that he was able to do now, because it's like he got to see someone else do it and make it work.
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden he's like, you know what? Why can't I do that? And he became and he was a very confident person because he knew that he could do something. He knew that he could make it work, which is what allowed him to get, when he was doing the Nick Fury stuff, to do this amazing, cool art stuff that just blew your mind. Well, Jack was the one who kind of did it first. He was the one who really opened this doorway to just these vast worlds that he could create. And I think that's what all of us kind of comic artists kind of shoot for, really. We want to be able to do that, to just create these fun worlds that are ours, that are our own. They just come from our minds. We put it on paper, and it's there. At least with me, that's what I always want to do. I want to be able to put something on paper, and I want to be able to say, this is from my mind. Here's a glimpse at what's going on in there. Here's these worlds that I'm thinking of.
That's properly beautiful. I don't think I've ever thought of that, but I want to think like that now. That's awesome.
It's just, I don't know. It's just I've always been kind of, even growing up through school, I've been that way where I've always been a little mentally mature for my age as a young kid, because I would always think of these things of asking questions of like, well, why can't I? Why can't I do this? You know, if a thought came into my head, I just would speak it. Yeah, sometimes it came out, some weird shit came out, but I never wanted to lie about who I was. I never wanted someone to meet me and think I was something else, and then eventually down the line see me for who I really was. No, I want you to see who I really am the moment you meet me. Here I am, this is who I am, deal with it or get the fuck away from me. You know? Nice. So even on my artwork, I can't help it. Because this story here that I'm working on, that you're seeing me work on, is actually not my story. A friend of mine, who I'm very close friends with, I was in a band with him for a long time. He kind of had this. He's kind of like me in a lot of things, where he had all these crazy ideas. The only thing he didn't have was the artisticness to put it on paper. So I was like, well, I can help you with that. You know, I can be that person who puts it down. And so now, and it kind of create this weirdness where he's giving me his kind of ideas and stuff, and now I'm. And we kind of made this kind of apparent, is that I wanted to make sure I still had the freedom to kind of shape things a little bit, which he was okay with. And it kind of creates this weird mashup of his weird ideas mixed with my weird ideas. But then there's my story that I'm going to be working on. I want to get it started in the new year, where I'm taking a lot of my passion for comic books, superheroes. I'm taking my passion for these grand stories, and I'm also taking my passion for mythos. I love mythos. I love mythology. I love Greek mythology. I love Japanese mythology. I love Norse mythology. I love these all these grand gods and these grand characters that you just stare at them and you go. It baffles my mind why, of all the religions to pick from, people had to pick one of the most boring to be the most dominant one. I'm reading some of these stories from the Bible. I'm like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. Okay, he did a cool magic trick. Here's Odin fighting frost giants. Here's a guy with a giant hammer that he can throw and have it come back to him.
I'm liking everything you're putting down right now.
Here's these godly characters up on Mount Olympus. This motherfucker who can hold lightning in his hand and throw it at you.
Lightning.
Because fuck you.
Because fuck you.
I don't know. I was too bored with other religions to give a shit about most of the Christian mythos. Because a lot of it was stolen. A lot of it was stolen from these other religions. They stole holidays. They stole characters. So much of their mythos is taken from all these other religions. So I was like, well, why don't I go read these other religions and see what they're about? Holy shit, these are awesome.
Choose that.
So now I'm tying that into my comic. I'm going to have my own Thor, but I'm also going to bring in other gods from other religions. And I'm going to basically treat them that they're not gods, per se. They're not just religious mythos.
You already have a Patreon set up for this?
I have it set up.
I'm subscribing.
I have it set up, but I'm not quite wanting to promote it until I have something to show. Right. I want to be able to, so that the moment they go in there, they have something to at least look at to know that it's a thing. Because I have so many characters, I'm going to be bringing in Norse characters. You let me know
when that's live, because I'm a subscriber.
Because think of it this way. Not only is Thor going to be a character, who's an actual superhero as well, he's going to be a thing, kind of like Marvel, except I'm going to be doing the old version I'm doing the motherfucker who would be wearing fur outfit. His hammer's huge as fucking hell. It might as well be a mace or something. Like, it's giant.
Nice.
But I'm also going to have characters like Sun Wukong, who I love that character. I love his mythos. You know, I'm going to have Fenrir as an actual main character, but I'm going to be changing things up a little bit with him. I'm going to be bringing in these characters.
Are him and Odin actually going to get into it?
I don't want to spoil it because it actually is a very big. It is a huge event when you get this character's backstory. So
this might be
that's
the
why
voice talking, but I'm subscribed even more.
That's why I said Fenrir, and that's why I didn't say what his actual name was in the comic. Eventually, you'll learn who he is, but until that moment, like, it's going to be pretty fun.
That's good to hear, because I've been pulling from the list of public domain, various public domain characters lately, because I have my own, obviously, Polly here, but it's also in switching over to not doing unlicensed prints anymore. No more Wolverines or Batmans and stuff. It's one of those things where I also want to still have some sort of recognition. And you bring up Thor, it's the same thing I'm thinking of. Is Thor is public domain. Marvel's version of Thor is not. So the idea of I just kind of reiterating that because a lot of people are confused on that. I like the idea of just having that big red-headed beard, mane of hair.
Yeah, red-headed.
Massive.
Let's get this right.
Hammer.
Guy with a ginger.
Yeah.
I just see your picture and I'm like, yeah, of course he would dig that. I thought you were about to say that Odin wasn't public domain, and like my van is named Odin, and I was about to fight somebody.
Yeah, and that's what I also love about these mythos characters is that they're all technically public domain. There's nothing, no matter how many other people have done them, there's nothing they can say because as long as mine doesn't look exactly like their design, I can do whatever the fuck I want with the character.
There you go.
I'm making a comic book next year, just parroting all of them.
Because technically, I could make a Son Goku character. I can call my character Goku because Son Goku is a mythological character. It is I think it's the Chinese character of Sun. No, it's the Japanese character of Sun Wukong.
Guess who just stole that idea? As long as I remember it in the morning.
Yeah. But I like Sun Wukong. I actually do prefer the name. I do prefer that version of the mythos of his journey to the West.
I mean, to be fair, Son Goku is a lot easier to say, especially when you've been drinking.
That's probably how they came up with the name.
I could see it. I could definitely see it.
But I just like...
I like all those syllables you said right there, but we need to take it down a notch.
Nice.
Have you thought about Goku?
Fun fact, actually, about the character. If you've ever played the game Smite, which is a kind of like a League of Legends game, but except better, and it uses mythological gods, the character Sun Wukong is voiced by Goku.
That's stellar.
And Fenrir is voiced by Chris Savage.
That's awesome.
They actually have four or five characters who are voiced by Dragon Ball voice actors. I love it.
That's great.
It is so great because Chris does Zeus, he does Fenrir, he does her. And it's great.
I don't know about the other guys, but I know Krillin's voice, Sunny Straight. He's pretty active on Facebook, and he's very easy to get a hold of. So if you're into Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball or all of that, look him up because
I would definitely love to look at him because in case nobody has ever caught on, Dragon Ball is my all-time favorite series ever. Period. End of story.
Cheers to that. I'll cheers to that. Dragon Ball Z. Cheers.
I love the original Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball Z. I love L. I'm one of that weird percentage that love GT, and I don't give a fuck. I love all the movies.
Dude, I'm right there with you. We are fangirling right now.
I am growing on Dragon Ball Super. I didn't like it in the beginning because it was just retelling the movie, the Battle of Gods movie. But now that they're moving past it and they're kind of doing the in-between Battle of Gods and Return or
Are you
Resurrection F.
talking manga that's going on right now?
No, they brought back Dragon Ball, dude. It's Dragon Ball Super.
Say what?
Have
Is
you
this
seen
on
the two
TV
movies?
right now?
Have you seen the 2 movies?
I haven't, but I've been wanting to.
Dude, watch Battle of Gods, watch Resurrection F, and then realize that in Japan right now they are releasing Dragon Ball Super. I think they're on episode like 12 or 13 or something. And eventually, eventually it will be brought here,
Oh my god.
but not for a long time. Which
You've excited
unfortunately I
me
have
to-
to suffer through the Japanese voices because I'm sorry, I don't like the Japanese voices of these characters.
You've excited me to a level I have not experienced in like a lot of years. I'm
Oh,
level
it's-
9,000.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. Dude, watch the movies. They're fucking awesome. They're fucking awesome.
That's stellar. I'm so excited right now.
Although I think they kind of broke Vegeta a little bit.
Listen, Vegeta's always been broken.
No, I mean they did a number on the Prince of Saiyans here. Like when he's doing his own song and dance routines, they've broken the Prince of Saiyans. Like
This
it's
is almost too
like
much to handle right now.
that.
Oh, what say you, lovely ladies of the stream? Yeah, I'm talking to you, Jay and Carrie.
Yeah, we're still-
Sorry, we've hijacked this whole hangout.
When you get a bunch of fanboys and like real hardcore fanboys into a stream together, it's not pleasant. It's
Sure, that's actually not. It's just the way they've been doing the schedule now made it look like I am.
Okay.
Or if you're opening, they have to list it that way now.
Okay.
So I just saw them 2 times and thought I was.
everyone goes quiet and stalks in on their conversation.
I totally was. I was like, what's that?
I was like, what's going on? This, Miss Host
Oh,
has been
man.
very quiet.
Yeah, just trying to figure out how to
I apologize.
It doesn't help that
I
our
did not-
our microphones are probably much louder than yours, so it's hard for you to overpower us.
I was not expecting to get this drunk, but I am tipsy.
Yeah. I don't drink, so
I don't.
I get weird without alcohol.
I get a lot looser, and I thought I was loose before. But my goodness. So what's going on, hundreds?
What's happening?
What's everyone else working on?
I think I'm done with this page tonight.
You're done, or you've had enough?
I've had enough.
Okay.
There's a distinctive difference in those two statements.
Alright, I am saving it, and I am going to try something else.
I think I'm done with this panel. I've been working on for the
That's all I've been working on is one panel.
Yeah.
Listen,
like, yep.
I gave up on everything about an hour ago.
The thing is, now that I've established this like brick pattern, I'm like, oh fuck, now I gotta have it in this panel, and this panel, and this panel, and this. Oh fuck me.
Boy, isn't that a pisser.
I'm gonna
did
do it
in
very
one
light.
panel on my comic. I was like, shit, now I gotta do it all. Fuck.
I'm gonna do it very
You
light.
have to psych yourself up to do those type of panels.
Yeah.
Almost no, because the pattern structure of it gives a lot of stabilization to everything else. I find. I don't know if any of this makes sense anymore.
Oh,
we-
and anyone who's a Dragon Ball fan, I do put
Nice.
I do put little Easter eggs in my comics.
Nice.
The fucking Sphinx is Roshi.
Oh.
Oh wait, did I do something on that first panel? Did I do anything like texture-wise on this panel, or did I leave that? Oh god, yes I did. Fuck.
Listen, I'd like to point out that I was going to handle myself very well when we were talking about doing this hangout 4 hours prior. We've crossed that boundary.
We have totally gone to that point.
I apologize for anything other than right now. Right now.
Okay.
Right now.
So if we don't see you on Facebook tomorrow, we'll know where you're at.
Oh, no way. Listen,
You'll be
I am
passed
one
out.
that deals with my hangovers like a true professional. I know when I've been a dastardly person and have treated my body poorly. I will just chug about half a gallon of water when I go to sleep.
There you go.
See, it's all about a control of knowing how to drink, which thankfully I do. Above all else, my body knows how to cope with everything I've done to it. So, which that deserves a shot. Am I right?
I'm in that weird situation where I'm sitting here going, okay, I know that is a texture. Now I got to remember what texture that is, so that I can copy it over to my other.
Eric, you are blowing my mind right now. I'm pouring myself a shot, and I'm like, "That's a texture? Yeah, it is a texture." Cheers on
Yeah,
that.
I did see right here. That's a texture I did so that it would look more like sand and less like whatever the fuck it looks like without the texture.
Nice.
And now I realize it, and then I was like, oh shit, I have it also in all these panels, so now I have to add it into this because I forgot to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna. Can I copy this on into another thing? Can I do that? I need to figure this shit out.
Shit.
Not duplicate. I need copy. Because I know in Photoshop, if you duplicate it, it'll ask if you want to duplicate it to another thing. So I'm gonna let me see.
I can't remember either.
Doesn't do it.
You're talking about things that are out of my wheelhouse, so I don't know.
So here's a question for everyone. So for Eric, we know that Dragon Ball Z is his main inspiration. I'm assuming just because he talks about it so much. So what is everyone else's big inspiration?
Ooh, wow. Everybody else go before me.
I should clarify with mine because it's a little unfair to just say Dragon Ball. My biggest influence, especially art-wise, is a mixture between Jack Kirby and Bruce Timm. Those are my two big. Oh, okay, and I do have to give credit to Mr. Ramita. I got to give Ramita Sr. credit, but mostly Bruce Timm and Jack Kirby. So,
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you can, like, your framework is those people, but everything else is like, it looks Dragon Ball Z. Like, it has very fluid lines, and, like, you know it's trying to be fun, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense.
Especially with this one, yeah.
But, yeah, that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it's all I can do. Just trying to make some sense of my madness.
I'll go next. My big influence is Dragon Ball Z as well. But since then, I've upgraded to Berserk, which, if you have never seen that series,
Ooh, that's a good one.
it's such an insane series to get into. But if you can get over the main plot point, which is pure insanity, it's such a beautifully well done story. Which all the characters are so well done. If you watch Berserk movies, they are less well done. I think they're basically more well done for series of the fan, or fuck. Now you can tell I'm drunk. Fans of the series, where the anime series is pretty fucking well done for the manga, up to a point where the manga is blowing my mind nowadays. So, I hope you're alright with all that swearing now that I'm drunk.
Yeah. Hey, if they were going to be having a problem with swearing, they would have been yelling at me a while ago. I don't have to be drunk.
Fair enough.
It's just deal with it.
What about you, Greg? You're next.
Now, where do I begin?
Just start.
Back in my youth.
Back in the day, before the dark times, before the Empire.
Yes.
I would say, for me, comic book wise, Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri were the initial kindling, and then J. Scott Campbell and Michael Turner were the fuel on the fire for me. And that's where I really wanted to get into comics, and then just the additional logs on top of that, or like Joe Madureira.
What characters specifically, though?
Characters that got so Fantastic Four is what got me into comics, and what got me into comics about that is the real world problems that these comic book characters were going through. The old cliche about what Stan set up with Marvel. And so then from that, I ended up, starting to read more, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and then I eventually got into X-Men. Was never really a big Avengers fan, not because I didn't like Avengers, I just never picked up the books.
Hold on, pause a second. Are you saying you're not a fan of the Avengers movies?
Negative.
What?
I love
Okay.
the Avengers movies. So that's where I become that next generation fan too of how the movies have progressed. I'm a huge fan of everything Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios going forward.
Nice.
But as far as like doing comics myself, that's where like stuff like Gen 13, Danger Girl really made me want to do my own comics. Silvestri and Turner doing Witchblade, and then seeing Turner do his own book with Fathom. All that stuff just made me feel like, why the hell not? Why can't I come up with something and do my own stuff? And then from there, my other influences are role-playing games, video games, movies, just like everybody else. But those are pretty much the kindling to the gasoline for me.
Oh yeah, man. Speaking of which, did you see that Campbell came out with a new hardcover?
Yeah.
I know. I that was literally the same thought I had when I saw that. I was like,
How do Back to the Future stuff and just seeing the other characters. Yeah, Scott's always been a great guy to chat with at shows and see where he's been putting his creativity towards. When Lost was on TV, and you would just see him do random sketches of Locke and other characters, Sawyer, just because he's watching the TV show and doing it. To progress from comics to caricature work to now blending it all, it's highly influential right now for me.
Now I'm jealous because now I have to go back and find his Lost work.
Oh, his lost work. Yeah, he back when he had the was it comic book resources message boards, and he used to post up stuff occasionally there while he was doing stuff. Now it's Facebook and Twitter. Follow his like page on Facebook if you can, because he'll just pump stuff out every once in a while, especially when he was building up to New York Comic Con.
To his page right now. I follow him on Instagram, and that's how I knew he came out with a hardcover.
Yeah, I think if anything, he's doing what I do. I post to Instagram, then I let Instagram post it to my Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. I posted that we're doing a fun little meetup with some cool people tonight on my Instagram. It got a couple likes.
Man.
Makes me happy.
I don't know. I don't know if I can like that right now because that's only meaning people are coming to see me drunk.
But they're coming to see you.
I mean, it's all right. I'll take it.
Well, that was the only downside, though, is I didn't know how to link up the video per se. But yeah, that's fun.
It has been quite fun. Ladies.
Well, you know, Turtles is my inspiration. One of them. I don't know, just anything, just life in general inspires me and influences me.
Right
I
on.
get some of the funniest and greatest stories from life.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have yet to find somebody that Turtles hasn't inspired,
Yeah.
and that's a great feeling.
Could you imagine being Kevin Eastman or Peter Laird and knowing that you've inspired so many people? Entire generations.
Yeah.
I hope for that. You know what? In 20 years, if somebody says that, I can die happy.
Yeah. Let alone doing what you love to do, right, man? I mean, that's the way it goes. I tell people, like, these days, there's a lot of tragedy out there in the world, but, the thing is the world does keep getting better and better with each generation, and so many things are possible these days that I look to the future with so much optimism and happiness because, wow, the things that I can do that I probably would not have been able to do 100, 200 years ago.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Hell
be
yeah,
on
man.
soapbox.
That was a nice soapbox.
Brought to you by Tide.
Bingo.
That's an inside joke for myself because I not to get into the topic too much, but the whole thing in Paris today is just horrible. And I'm sitting there just trying to pull up some current news, go to CNN or whatever, and so I'm looking and pulls up the video, and I'm waiting for it to buffer, and then boom, 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 boom. Do you have your Toyota car? Do you drive it? Do you go? And I'm like, I'm not worrying about luxury cars right now. I'm worrying about people's lives in another country. And I was like, really? And then it takes forever because it's like that extra long commercial because they want to get their buck out of it.
Yay, ad block.
Yeah, I know I should have something like that added onto my stuff, but and then eventually, like I started following up on the news, and so it's cool. They finally got to that, but man, like so many great and wonderful things these days, and I really wish that I could be alive long enough for us to live in the Star Trek years where we don't have to have a business to make money, but someone can open up a restaurant because for the love of cooking food for people, they get to open a restaurant. A little shout out to Cisco's dad from D Space Nine.
To be fair, though, we appreciate all the food restaurants out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jay, I believe you're next.
I'm gonna have to go with the Turtles. I owe so much to them.
Ugh, that gets old.
I feel that's a solid play, but I think you're hiding something. I think there's other influences you don't want to say.
What were the influences? Because I got disconnected for a moment there, and I need to turn my screen share back on. For some reason, it keeps like saying that like something timed out, even though I know damn well it's not my connection.
Burn down the internet. Let's do it.
Fucking A, man. No, let's burn down Comcast specifically.
Yes. I don't know. I don't think I deal with Comcast, so... But I'd definitely be down for burning it down.
No, don't burn it down. I have
Watch
to find out what
yourself,
happens to
Comcast.
Glenn on Walking Dead.
Wash yourself, Comcast.
They didn't show that last week, did they?
Nope.
Okay. I haven't watched it, so I didn't know.
Listen, Listen, I don't watch The Walking Dead, but I know that's not coming till next season, or like the mid-season premiere.
I know.
So
Grumble.
I'm not really a Walking Dead guy. I'm more interested in who Professor
you
Zoom
know
is.
he's gonna be alive.
I'm like that weird guy in the room who's like, well, I want to know who Professor Zoom is.
No, you know who Zoom is. We all know who Zoom.
No, we don't. Because I don't even think the fucking writers really know what they're going with that. I mean, come
I
on.
100% don't know who Dr.
Because
Doom is.
because for one, it's obviously not Eobard Thawne, because
Right.
he was the only one who was legitimately actually called, Dr. Zoom. That was one of his nicknames. The only other Reverse Flash that it could be is Hunter Solomon, but they have not set that up. There is
True.
no. So it has to. A lot of the theories that a couple of me and my friends have been making up is, and we think they would be really awesome. It's either A, it's Earth 2. It's Barry's father from Earth 2.
That's my vote.
B, it's a super aged Barry from Earth 2.
Ooh, okay.
And there's actually a kind of a third one that we kind of threw out because, and we didn't even think about it until we remembered that West's wife came in and mentioned that she has a son. And we all fucking know that that's Wally West.
True.
And the voice of Zoom right now, I can never fucking remember his name. He played Candyman.
Tony Todd.
Thank you, Tony Todd.
Whoa.
He's voicing
Whoa.
Zoom.
Everyone relax. Let's not bring Candyman up again in this.
But think about it. He's voicing Zoom, so I don't know if they're gonna pull a Vader where he takes the mask off and he's someone else. They might do that because it's obvious that he's doing that as like something to keep him hidden. He doesn't want to be known, but he's not doing it in the same way that Barry and Reverse Flash did it, where they would vibrate their the vocal cords so that they would make that modulating sound.
Right.
Can I stop you there for a second? If there were a Zeus, I would claim it'd be Candyman because that guy scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, but so we're not sure who Zoom's going to be. They have to. It has to be a character that they've set up. That's what they did with Reverse Flash.
Right.
It was. It ended up being. That. Who it was. Obviously it was Eobard Thawne, but if anyone has not seen the series and doesn't know the big reveal, then I don't want to spoil that. But we all know it was a character that they had established.
Exactly.
And I love that the character's back now, and all of a sudden he's on the good side because he's the real one, and I just love the fact that he's kind of more of a dick than the villain version.
Oh yeah. That Kavanaugh, Tom Kavanaugh.
Yeah, like he plays that part very well. I love having him back. I was afraid that they were going to bring him back and make him the villain. I'm like, no, don't make him Zoom again. But nope, he's well, he's the actual Wells. He's dealing with it. I'm like, thank you.
Well, and that's the frustrating thing. I follow the Flash after show recap show on Collider Video, and they brought up a good point that the association that Barry and all of them are having is misled anyways.
Yeah, because they look at him and they see the Thawne Wells rather than actual Wells. This is Wells, not Eobard Thawne, who decided, hey, I'm just going to steal you.
Spoilers for those who haven't seen the Flash yet.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid spoilers, but unfortunately we're in that territory where it's kind of impossible. Because I'm not going to keep calling him the guy. I can't.
I'm actually more excited to find out about the guy.
Yeah, well, that's basically who Zoom is right now. He's just some guy. We don't know who the fuck he is. He's some dude from Earth 2. So now it's like, well, fuck, who is this guy?
It's Tom Welling.
Oh god, yeah. I want to know, but at the same time, I'm like apprehensive because I'm like, are they gonna do something really good, or are they gonna do a cop out? Like, I don't know what they're gonna do, and I'm scared of that.
True.
Because they've already shown him completely trounce Barry in the worst. Like, oh my god, he tore him the fuck up, and now he's paralyzed. Which, it's the Speed Force. We know it's gonna somehow magic bullshit its way to him not being paralyzed because it's the Speed Force. It's their Deus Ex Machina, but at the same time, it's like,
if I had Speed Force, I'd use that every fucking day.
well, he does. I mean, he even uses it for his job sometimes. He cheats it, but
it's
Cheater.
It's a pretty solid play.
yeah, but it's just one of the things where they've done it in the comics before, where something's happened and the problem was solved by, you know, bullshit Speed Force unknown property shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, hell, one of the things that they had with Zoom, one of the things he realized he could do is, while in the Speed Force, like actually in the actual place that is the Speed Force, he found that he can do this trick where when time's dilated in the Speed Force, he can basically get the equivalent of running a like 20-mile marathon over the span of like 10 or 20 years in the matter of like minutes. So all of a sudden he runs, he gets in the Speed Force, he comes out the other side of the Speed Force, he is jacked. Like, he is just a mass of muscle.
Damn.
Man, I would use that all the fucking time.
And Barry was like, because Barry is faster, period. He is the fastest speedster. But Zoom was just sitting there going, well, you may be faster and you can get all these punches in that don't do dick to me. All I have to do is hit you once. But then they realized, shit, we made him a little too strong. And then they came up with some bullshit like side effect to doing what he did. And basically, eventually, the dilation stops, and the Speed Force goes, oh, hey, you know that awesome shit we just gave you? Yeah, we're just going to take it back now. And it literally just drains him completely, and it, like, crippled him. Like, he was old-looking and feeble. He couldn't do shit, and that's how they won. So, I don't know. I hope they don't go that route, because that would be kind of weird. But it is a thing in the comics. It has happened, so technically they can pull it out of nowhere if they fucking want to. As much as I hope they don't, because that'd be weird.
Well, I'm surprised they don't go another Infinite Earth, or I'm trying to think what the Justice League movie was where they tricked the opposite Flash into.
Oh, that was Crisis on Two Earths. Where they got Johnny Quick to where Batman did it too. Batman was like, you know, oh, you're not fast enough. He's like, what? And he's like, and then Johnny was like, well, I can do it. And he's like, okay, but you realize this is gonna be very dangerous. And then at the end of it, Johnny Quick's just like, all that crap about, you know, Flash not being fast. No,
that
was a lie. And he's like, and he doesn't even say anything. He just kind of gives that look of yeah. And he's like, good one, mate. And then he dies. I'm like, motherfucker,
this was gonna happen, and he's like, I didn't. Oh, I totally did, though.
No, I mean, he felt remorse for it. Like, he does feel remorse for anything like that, but he knew that he couldn't, in good conscience, let Barry do it. He's like, I'm not gonna have you kill yourself. But we do technically need. But we need a speedster. So, Johnny, sorry,
listen,
mate.
Let's talk about how much DC's a bunch of dicks. No way would Marvel pull that card, but DC's like,
really?
Let's kill the opposite you.
No, what Marvel will do is they will have Peter Parker make a deal with the fucking devil to have his marriage torn apart so that his old Aunt fucking May can be alive again.
Listen, I think they can keep going with that, and where Doc Ock was Spider-Man.
That was a horrible thing. That was a horrible, horrible fucking story.
Spider-Man was in the past. Let's not even care about him anymore. Doc Ock is the new Spider-Man.
No, he is the superior Spider-Man for a little while, and now Peter's back.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, Peter's been back for a while, dude. Like, he's been back for a while now.
I don't follow the comic. I know I have a friend that was super pissed that Doc Ock was Spider-Man, and then fell in love with Doc Ock as Spider-Man, and then was pissed that they threw away him. So
yeah, well,
that's all I know.
It was kind of almost as bad as their whole Clone Saga bullshit.
Well, I mean, everything they do is if you have to clone bullshit it's. I mean, why did you try in the first place?
It was a horror. And the fucked up thing is they actually had a chance to save it. Like, they had the chance to save it and make it a really good story, and then they fucked it up.
Listen, all they need is one person in the studio that just bypasses all the shit they've put in place. It was like, we're gonna make a great story, and just hits that button. I would be that savior for a story of Marvel.
Yeah, but then they would be immediately fired, and the comic book would be pulled. Like, let's be real here. This is Marvel we're talking.
I know what you're saying is true, but I want to believe that they were like, oh, yeah, you know what, you were right, and we were stupid.
That they're doing a good job. Like, they full-heartedly believe in this bullshit that they're pulling on right now, where they're trying to destroy a couple of the universes so that they can start to fuck over again. Like, they believe in this bullshit.
That's what makes fucking getting into DC so hard, is because they're like, oh, we did a new 52, so...
Flashpoint Paradox!
Now you don't have to believe in anything that happened in the past.
That's the thing. That's the reason why they love keeping Barry around.
Cable flip.
Because Barry is their loophole. Because he's the reason the New 52 is a thing. Because he wanted to go back in time and save his mom, and it fucked up everything, and then he had to go stop himself from saving his mom, and it still technically changed so many. It just had a huge ripple effect. So that's why we have the New 52, people. Because Barry wanted to save his mom.
Can we talk about the bullshit that DC pulls? That's like, let's time travel by having Superman go around the planet 1,000 times.
Thankfully, that was just the movie. Thankfully, that was just the movie. Thankfully, the comics were like, okay, we know we've done some dumb shit, but we're not that stupid.
You know, if the comics went that far, they're like, oh, Superman went around the planet 1,000 times. Sorry.
Yeah.
Retcon.
No, all they had to do is get Barry to do something, because he can travel through time. Unfortunately, he's not as good as Eobard Thawne, because Thawne actually knows how to go back in time and change the past without fucking up the future. Because he changed the timeline so that he was the one who killed his mom, without completely fucking over the timeline.
Listen, I want to go on a bold statement and say that fucking up the timeline is the best part of time travel.
It's a touchy situation.
Like dealing with new situations that you haven't dealt with, like that's what time travel was made for.
You know what I want to know though?
If
out of all that
Abraham Lincoln had a Gatling gun,
that'd be cool. But out of that whole Flashpoint Paradox bullshit, I want to know why Dr. Light, or not Dr. Light, Dr. Fate didn't call on some bullshit. That motherfucker cannot be changed. He exists out of time. His whole persona and his mentality. You cannot fuck with his his mind or his memories. If you change the timeline, he knows.
True.
I'm wondering how he wasn't sitting there looking at his costume going, wait, what the fuck happened to it? Barry! The fuck did you do? Barry's just sitting there like, I just wanted to save my mom. It's like, damn it, Barry. What?
I mean, if you had
made it clear that you can't have nice things? I think the TV show even made that apparent when he had to go back in time and physically watch his mom die, and no, he couldn't. He wasn't allowed to stop. He couldn't do it. Like, he had to watch his past self stop him and say, "Don't do it." Jesus. Oh my god! For anyone who hasn't seen it, I'm sorry, but spoilers. But god damn, that tore me up.
Hang on.
That whole scene tore me up. Oh my god. I don't cry, okay? I don't cry over movies or shows or anything like events like that. That had my eyes watering pretty bad. Like, that hurt right in the fucking soft spot. If nobody hasn't watched it, you need to watch that fucking series, because god damn is it great.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Have you seen the whole season, first season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know my pain. you know my pain.
I did. Yeah, I did see the one where Barry basically has to let his mom die again.
And then have that moment where he's just standing over her her dying body and like having to talk to her.
Yeah.
And Oh, god damn it! Now I'm hurting again.
It's like, why?
Like right in the feels, man. You can't do that to me. You're just a TV show, man.
It's not fair.
It isn't, man. And that actor, that
TV
is what really sold me on that actor, is the way he handles emotion.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times where the characters like have those really emotional moments, like him and Joe, him and his dad, like, oh my god, they handle those emotions so great, and especially Joe. I love that fucking actor.
Yeah.
He
Right.
holds that show to a whole new degree. He is the glue in that show that makes everyone else's performances way better. Like, I love his character so much. Like, I'm even, like, and that's kind of bad for me to say, but I'm, like, completely willing to completely ignore the whole race change crap that they did with it, which is odd for me to say, just because I love that actor so much. It's like I found my goddamn exception, and that pisses me off because now it makes me feel bad about some of the other ones, but at the same time it doesn't, because you know what? He's a great actor. Also, I think they actually made that a change in the comics too, because last time I saw Wally West in the comics, he was a black kid, and I was like, okay, they did it in the comics, it's cool. Do it in the source medium first, and then I'll be okay with it. Then I won't bitch.
I can point out that I'm super excited to watch this stream and see just how far down the rabbit hole I went.
You watch it later and you're just like, oh god, what happened to me?
I'm excited to link up all my social media and see just where I went. Because Jesus, I just saw another pledge for my KickStarter, and we'll do a shot for that.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw my
missed-
facial expression right there, because
Yeah, you missed part of the conversation, which I think you would have given another shot to.
what was it about?
Well, actually, no, you left when I was talking about the Barry moment, him and his mom.
True.
But then also just talking about one of my favorite actors on the show right now is the actor who's playing Joe West, the guy from Law and Order. That motherfucker is just great. I love that dude so much.
It's hard to hate on an actor like that. Like, there's a lot of actors that I could just throw away, but you know what?
Yeah.
Cheers to that guy.
Oh, definitely.
Whoops. Oh, fuck. I dropped my phone. Fuck it.
Who needs it?
Cheers to you, everybody. Oh, man.
Go back, and I'm sitting here going back in all these comments. I'm trying to thicken the borders of like the characters' outlines, because I keep forgetting to do it. Like, I'll do the regular art like this, and then I forget that, oh yeah, I want to go back and add that nice thick border around them. Yeah. And now I have to do it post-production, so I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm not going to fuck with what my inks already look like. I'm going to make a whole new layer. Do it on a whole new layer, so if I fuck up and I don't like it, I can just fuck with that layer and not worry about messing up my inks.
There you go.
Because there's these gray areas like right here that it's going to be hard to do anything thick there, because look at how close these lines are.
Yeah.
So I have to pick and choose where I put the thick line. Also, it is 1 o'clock in the fucking morning now.
I mean, right?
Like, I should have been in bed. I should have been in bed an hour ago. Yeah, I should have been in bed an hour ago, to be honest, because I usually clock out at 12.
Eric,
so
I'm glad
early.
you stuck around for the ride.
I'm still here too. I'm not going anywhere yet.
Woo woo.
I'm not even really tired yet. That's what's funny. Like, I'm not like drowsy or tired, and amazing. My stomach's not hurting, because usually when I stay up too long, past when I know I should be sleeping, my stomach starts pitching a fit at me, and that's when I usually know, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah, we should cheers that.
Cheer that I'm not dealing with stomach problems today.
Woo! Am I the only one drinking on this stream?
No.
Nice. I'm so glad.
I don't think I'm going as
Because-
far as you, but I'm going.
She's not
Wait, what
quite
was that
inebriating herself yet.
Oh, I'm way past that line.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited that I get to watch this stream and see how far I went. Like probably 2 hours in. What were we choosing? Oh yeah, staying up this late.
Yeah.
That and forgetting to put things in. I do that all the time. I'll forget to put something in, but I won't notice until after I post it, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to add that thing.
Listen, if you use Twitter primarily, that's the worst because you have to delete that Twitter and
Yeah.
then throw up a new one.
Yeah, you can't edit it.
That's why I like Tumblr. You can actually just edit the post.
Yep.
Listen. I
Well,
knew
nobody
you.
blogged it.
I know you saw this post 5 minutes ago, but I'm an idiot and made a mistake and misspelled something. So here it is again.
Yep. Apologies to the 5 of you who were fortunate enough to see it first before I was
You know
able
what?
to delete it.
I'm excited to get to 5. So cheers on that.
It's weird. I can like slowly grow a little bit of a following. It's not like anything to like brag over, but it's for some reason I'm blessed enough to at least be able to get something working.
I want to point out that fuck that. You get excited about that following. I've actually seen you prior to the hundreds because people shared your posts on Tumblr.
Oh, cool. That makes me feel better that someone's actually sharing my shit on.
Sorry for
Tumblr.
sidetracking the whole hangout because I'm drunk, but bingo.
Yeah, it's fine. we accept that when someone gets drunk, it's gonna happen.
Nice.
Drunk things happen.
Man, I can't wait for the new hundreds people to be like, what was that guy's problem? I was like, alcohol. That was my problem.
Like, what kind of group did I get into?
Yeah, really. We're all a bunch of
Welcome
alcoholics.
to the group. Not all of us, just me.
Yeah, I know I'm not. I don't drink at all. I'm the designated driver
What?
pretty much all the time.
What made you turn away from abstaining from drinking? If you don't mind me talking.
I've never found an alcoholic drink that I liked.
Nice.
I've tried Jack Daniels.
wish-
I've tried Honey Jack. I've tried a bunch of different beers. Yingling was the only thing I could keep down and was like, okay, this isn't terrible, but I don't like bitter things. I don't like really strong things. I like soda. You know, I like
You know
sweet
what?
flavors.
I would trade anything for you right now. Because I found the one that worked, and that's Sailor Jerry. This hangout's brought to you by Sailor Jerry.
I have yet to find the one that I was like. You know what's weird? The only thing I was able to find that I was like, okay, I can drink this. There was 2 of them. One is and it's both from the same similar company. It's both similar things. Mike's Strawberry Margarita and Smirnoff Ice. Those are the only 2 I can tolerate. And the funny thing is, they have very low alcohol percentage.
Have you tried rum?
Nah, I've never tried rum.
That's because that's the progression I made. I used to drink Smirnoff Ice and whatnot, but I made my way into rum because it's sweeter than whiskey.
Yeah. And I do
And you
have
just have
I do have a little bit of a fear as well because my mom is an alcoholic, and I do have the addictive personality. You know, my addiction was towards food, unfortunately, which is just as damaging. You know, but
Listen, I have no idea what you're talking about.
why? Well, it becomes a problem because of depression.
I absolutely do, and I do know what you're talking about.
And it sucks. You know, it's like, yeah, at least it wasn't alcohol or drugs, but it's still a problem. You know, I'm still sitting here at probably close to 400 pounds trying to deal with shit.
Listen, I almost said that alcohol is super fun on the stream, but I'm glad I didn't. But I'm glad that I did. Kinda.
Drink responsibly, people. Drink responsibly.
Yeah, because you'll be like an ox, and if you don't, so. Can we just say kudos to Carrie for having one of the most fun hangouts that we've ever had.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah,
Because
Let's
alcohol
again
was
sometime.
involved.
yeah, could be.
God, I'm super excited to watch this tomorrow.
It's been a while since we've had a hangout.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think. What was the, I don't know if it was mine or if there was one after it, because I hosted one. Then I think there was a couple. I don't remember. I don't even know what number mine was. What number is this? Like, what number is this technically?
This is 7.
I don't understand numbers right now, so.
This is 7. I think I did the last one, and
Oh, this is 7? Oh, wow. Okay, wow.
Yeah,
That's...
I think I did 6.
Maybe I'll do the next one.
Yeah, but we need to do it sooner than I think the last one was a couple months ago. So.
Oh yeah.
Definitely need to go a little sooner than that.
It was. I think it was. I think it was right after I finished my 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because I was talking about how burnt I got from it. And how, I was just like, I don't want to do anything.
No more.
I can't make any promises, but I can pretty sure I'm gonna show up drunk to yours. Wink.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure I text Carrie saying, "Hey, can you kick me out of this hangout if I get too crazy?" And I'm way past that.
I don't think you're actually at any.
No, you're fine.
No, you're not. You're not being aggressive. You're not obscene. You're not doing it. You're just being more giggly.
Oh, okay. I'm alright with that then.
And that's the thing. If you're a giggly drunk, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That's me, 100%. So we are solid.
Crazy. I'm so crazy for you.
I always sing that song from fucking Deadpool, the game.
I think if we started a karaoke hangout, everybody would come hang out.
Oh God, no! Please.
I mean, I'd try, but
Weird Al, yeah.
At least I'm one of the. I don't know. Am I the only one in the group who's actually done music and actually sung vocals before?
No, I used to do a lot of
totally
music
done.
in the past.
Okay, that's good. I'm not the only one. Cool.
Yeah. And
I'm not the only one who can attempt to hold a tune. Yay.
Yeah.
Tenor
I've done some
or
stuff
bass?
recently.
Eric,
What, me?
are we talking tenor or bass?
I think I have more of a bass tone when I sing.
I can see it. I can see it from your voice. You know.
Basically,
Because
I kind of have the
that
similar
stuff.
tones depending on how I sing, because I do have a little bit more of a bluesy tone in my voice, because it does naturally want to rasp a little bit, kind of like the like James and all, and those old blues players where they have that rasp in the back of their throat. But I can kind of tone it a little bit if I really try to. It's not easy, but I can get it to do it.
You'd have a better shot at it than I would right now, because I can barely speak a sentence. Woo! Woo!
Words are no worky.
Where's the stuff? But I'd pour my heart into it because I fucking love karaoke and shit.
Oh God, yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of Carrie, that. God damn it! I had to bring it back to the Flash. That episode of Flash where he goes out with Caitlin for a night and they do the karaoke, and she's the drunk one trying to sing and being terrible, but then all of a sudden you remember that Grant was on Glee, and he starts singing, and you're like, oh shit, that's right, he was on Glee.
Oh, that's right.
This guy has a voice.
It's true.
Wow.
Yep, he was on Glee. They got him to play. They got him to be Barry Allen.
And what was she on? A movie all those years ago. Kurt Russell, Sky High.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
right.
God, is that another brilliant movie?
I love that movie so much. That is a great fucking movie. That is a great fucking movie.
I need
with
to watch that this
Pharrell
weekend.
Is the bus driver? Shit.
Oh my God.
I totally need to watch that movie tomorrow.
And then, of course, Mr. Campbell as the gym teacher.
Gym teacher, yeah.
It's so great.
I watched that Ash vs. the Evil Dead
I
pilot
need to see
episode
that.
tonight.
Oh my God!
It's
How
for
great
free
is that show?
on stars.com.
It sucks because I am kind of ashamed to say it because for some reason the movies went under my radar. I have never seen the movies. Like they went completely under my radar for so many years, even though they're cult classics. And I feel bad because it's like I need to see them.
Listen, I love that my booze haze is like, hold on, we'll stop for a second because we need to address this issue. You definitely need to see the Evil Dead
series. Yeah, I know I need to see it because I like Bruce Campbell.
Listen, no.
I was introduced to him. I was introduced to him because, strangely enough, because of the Hercules and the Xena show.
Yeah.
The part that he played in that, and I was like, oh, this character's fun. You know?
Hold on a second. Let me take a drink.
Hold on a second. I need to take another drink before I get into this.
If you've made it this far into the video, I need to tell you that you need to watch the Evil Dead series. If not only for the series itself, but they are the prime example of doing shit on your own before it was even a thing.
Oh yeah, those were very low budget movies.
Those movies, they literally went around the town they were raised in, went around begging for money to promote this film, and they made enough to make the first one, the second one, and obviously the Army of Darkness, which is the third one. Beautiful movies. And the Ash vs. the Evil Dead series is perfection.
I knew it was going to be good the moment I saw that little trailer they did for it, and I was just like, you know what? I am all on board with this. I am all on board with this.
You absolutely should be, because I'm 2 episodes deep in it, and I cannot wait for tomorrow when the next episode comes out.
I only have one gripe with it, and it's more of I would like an addition to the show, and that's they can't mention the Army of Darkness stuff.
Greg, we're about to fight right now.
No, it's a good show,
but
I want more because I want it to mention that Army of Darkness happened.
No. That's what drags you into the series and makes you pay for the fucking Showtime series, because two episodes deep, and I cannot wait for tomorrow because the next episode comes out, and that series is beautiful.
No, I don't disagree that. I just think
it just
messed up. They can't mention Army of Darkness.
Copyright bullshit, and that's what the sad part is. It's caught up in they legally can't do anything because they don't own the rights.
But
and it sucks.
if you've ever seen anything Sam Raimi has made, he will tote that line to the absolute edge that he can. Because the first episode of the season, is beautifully made. It feels like it's the fourth film of the movie.
Yeah, definitely.
They have so many callbacks to the first movies that make you want to go watch the original series if you haven't seen them. So I'm drunk and I don't know what I'm saying right now, but cheers to that.
Don't worry, we do.
I don't know what that means, but yes.
No, okay, it's the same.
Well, folks, I'm out in 8 minutes. Sad to say.
Where are you heading to, Greg?
I have work in the morning.
Calling sick.
I have yet to call in sick in the last 6 months I've joined this job, and
You're right.
I don't plan on starting now.
Probably save it for a better moment.
Like when he's actually sick.
I'm blurring my words, so there's that.
I could just see that. So we have you on this YouTube video talking to these guys about artwork, about calling in sick because you just don't want to show up for work tomorrow. No, truth be told, I love my day job, and I love my artwork just a slight bit more. But
I
my
want
day job
to
pays better.
point out that though, if they did watch this video to this point
Thanks for the
and
support.
saw how incredible I was, like I'm pretty sure you'd get a pass. I'm just
Gotta love it.
fucking Greg. What is your day job? If you don't
So,
mind me asking.
what can I say? So for 12 out of the last 15 years, I've worked at Microsoft on various contractor gigs. And I am back to a current job that I did 8 years ago. So I'm back to the same contract, and I enjoy it. It's a job that I'm very good at, but I have more. See, how does one delicately put that they do enjoy their day job, but they would rather be drawing and creating? You know what I mean?
You're an artist.
Yeah, and my day job is not being an artist. Yet I still enjoy it.
From what I've seen over the last 3 months, like that's the dream, is so you can come home and be the artist, because if you're an artist at work, it kind of burns you out. So
Yep.
Yeah,
all the best.
It's just one of those scenarios where I think most artists would clearly love to be able to just do this 100% full time, to where they don't have to do anything else. But I'm one of the lucky few who pretty much has the luxury of being able to have that as a really very, very close option that I'm going to be achieving hopefully soon. But I don't even have a regular day job, so I don't have to worry about it at all.
Yeah.
I have no day job, like, I just, period.
But if you could hook me up with a new computer, I would appreciate it.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Wink.
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey, I'm happy with my computer. I built mine. All I need to do is I need to eventually. I should do it soon. I need to upgrade the graphics card again to something a little bit more powerful if I plan on playing Fallout 4.
Oh my god, I'm so jealous. I need that game in my life so hard.
Dude, I've been crying myself to sleep for days. every day I don't have it, I am crying myself to sleep. I am a huge Fallout fan. I fucking love the games so much.
I can appreciate that because I've never played 1 through 3, and everything I've seen on 4 is like, I fucking need this in my life so hard.
The thing is, I never played the first 2. I played Fallout 3 and I played Fallout New Vegas. New Vegas was my favorite. And the reason I didn't play the previous ones because they did make a real big jump in style, because it went from being an isometric adventure RPG game, kind of like, Diablo-esque stuff, like traditional RPGs at the time, and they went into the 3D realm, and that's when they had Fallout 3, which was more of the 3D pseudo FPS thing that they did, which I say pseudo because obviously their Elder Scrolls stuff was out first, and so they basically just tried to rework that same hardware into a first-person shooter, kinda, which is why they came out with the VAT system, because they're like, okay, we're not great at this. Let's make sure that this is workable by giving people a handicap.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan. I love what I'm seeing with the new one. I'm just pumped. I am super fucking pumped.
Listen, I like what you're saying, and I'm exactly on the same page, and I've never played the other 3. Like, dude, I need every bit of that.
You've done yourself a disservice. You need to play them. They're so great. Oh my god.
My only contention is, like, there's so many great and wonderful games out there, but not to be the party pooper, I don't have time. Like, if I get that feeling of, like, if I have time to play a game, I have time to draw.
My thing is, with you not having time, is knowing how much time you do have. If you have a time for a break, that's okay to play a game, but here's the thing. Do not play Fallout if you only have a little bit of time to give, because I guarantee you
you will start thinking, oh, I'm just gonna play the game for about 10 minutes.
Right.
5 hours later, you're still playing.
Right.
Listen,
And I'm not exaggerating at all.
I'm trying to contemplate the most cohesive thought that I can right now, and I am agreeing with him that I know that video game is super addictive. Pick up GTA 4 and I'll play with you, but other than that, don't pick up Fallout 4 because you'll lose yourself.
Right.
Dude, I can say that about Fallout. I can say that about Skyrim. Any of those games where there is so much to do in the game, and it is so hard not to. Like, it's like you're walking down the street, something just walks in front of you, and you're just like, oh, piece of candy. And now you're just off on a whole new adventure that you had no idea was a thing until it just walked in front of you. And that is Fallout and Skyrim, or not Skyrim, but Elder Scrolls to a fucking T.
Well, I played probably 4 or 5 hours of Skyrim, and it's my first dabble into the Elder Scrolls.
Oh,
and I did
the
same thing.
Stay the fuck away.
Stay away.
Stay the fuck away.
Big the map was, and everything you could do.
I probably clocked in at minimum 500-600 hours into that game. Minimum. Like, oh my god.
I can only hope that it's picking up my side-to-side shaking of my head.
Yeah. Like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You'll never get work done ever again.
Right.
Have you ever seen the sun? Because you'll never see it again.
Well, folks, that's it for me tonight.
All right,
Been a pleasure.
Greg,
it was a pleasure, and we
been a
hope to see you again.
Yep.
No, you guys help.
Joining us.
You guys help fuel the fire. I got something done, and I'm pretty happy
Hell,
with it.
I gotta say the same thing. I have gone weeks without touching anything, and yet I've actually made decent progress here. I got this panel done. I've fixed a few things. I needed this.
I just wish I didn't ink this on my. So I do a lot of my prelim stuff on photocopy paper, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna just go ahead and ink it, and it's like it's on photocopy paper.
I regret everything.
Little Lucille Ball moment, but
It'll all work out.
Oh well, darn! I'm gonna have to re-ink it onto Bristol board. Huh. Ever shall I do? Nah, I'll probably end up taking this one and working with it and move the eyes a little bit in digital post-production.
Post-production.
cheers, Greg.
You guys
Cheers,
have a good
man.
night.
Good night, my friend, and enjoy work tomorrow.
Work hard or work hard on hardly working.
Good luck with your 100s.
I'm definitely one of them.
Thanks. More to come.
Later, Greg.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
How do I officially exit this thing?
You gotta hit the red button. The red.
You're here forever.
Okay, I'll just leave this going and go to work.
Yeah.
Alright, later, Earl.
Later.
Bye.
Hey, he figured it out. Oh man. God, I'm out of ginger ale. My throat is dry as hell.
Well, there's always water.
I don't feel like getting up. Because at this point, if I get up, it's going to be to go to bed. Which I probably should. Even though, well, I don't have anything really to fucking do tomorrow. So I don't mind staying up till 2. It sucked last night because I was hanging out with Johannes. Because like, him and I just do like random hangouts every now and then. We talk a lot. And the problem with him though is he doesn't start any of that kind of stuff until like fucking 12 midnight, and that's really hard on me because it's like, dude, that's when I want to clock out. So
No, absolutely. I totally agree because I saw his come up last night. And I was like, man, I should totally jump in that, but I am in no shape to jump in that.
well, we actually didn't stream last night. He actually asked me, he's like, hey, do you want? I'm like, I'm just like really tired, and I just want to chill. And he's like, oh, cool. So we literally just hang out sometimes, just talk.
while we like work on something or we're just like discussing projects or something. And it's just it's kind of like this, except it's basically like this without like the streaming, and we don't have like, I don't know. It's just, it feels more casual sometimes because it's just two friends talking. It's just two buddies talking. Which this is starting to turn into that, actually. Now that I've gotten to know you guys a lot more, like it's slowly turning into a more comfort zone of me being like, okay, y'all are cool. I can just talk to you like buddies now, which I'm a lot more comfortable with. Because I don't like. I always felt awkward in the first couple because I just kind of sat there quietly, like, you know, because I knew Kevin from YouTube only. Like to me he was just like a YouTube guy. I like that was it. So when I was like, oh my god, I'm being invited to be part of one of the live stream things, I was just like, okay, that's pretty fucking cool. And I was a little bit, I guess, anxious because my anxiety was kind of kicking in, so I was kind of a little quiet. But I was also listening, which is one of my favorite things to do. I love listening to people talk when they're actually like talking about personal stuff. And it just kind of it became a weird sensation where I started feeling comfortable because it felt natural to me to just sit and kind of listen to people talk.
Yeah, or you get like me and you concentrate so hard on listening, you forget to talk.
Yeah, sometimes. But thankfully, like, but obviously there are times when I do kind of chime in just out of instinct, which you've seen a lot here.
Yeah.
When certain topics get brought up, it's just I can't not do it. It's just my brain's just like, no, we are not accepting this. And then I get very vocal about my things that I'm passionate about.
Well, yeah, I feel you.
Whew. I'm actually surprised my hand's not like sweating really badly. I guess that's like a sign of, you know, the weather finally getting to the point where I'm not going to be sweating my ass off anymore, which I love. I love the winter. Absolutely adore the winter.
See, where I am in the Sunshine State, I'm still sweating.
You can keep it. You can fucking have it. I want my 40-degree weather. I want my snow. I want to be bundling up next to a freaking heater, man. I love it. I love being cold and trying to get warm. Like, I love that sensation. Hell, I'm the idiot who goes out in a snowstorm to get the mail, and I'm in shorts and a t-shirt while it's still snowing. Like, that's just me, you know? That's me. And it freaks out some of my friends. Like, my ex was like, she was the kind of person who just, like, could not even handle the slightest bit of cold. Like, it freaked me out how, like, 60s would make her shivering. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? All of a sudden, I became the heated blanket. You know, it was like, God damn it, I'm being used as a fucking like warmer, just because I naturally put off heat because of my weight. Lines. Oh, there we go. I do miss my Cintiq. Because for a while there I was using the, I don't know if you kept up with any of my stuff where I was reviewing the Oogie tablet. And I am so glad to be back with my baby. When you're used to something of the higher quality, and then you go to try and use something that you know is slightly under, it becomes so weird.
Yeah.
Like those Oogie tablets just, I mean, for anyone if anyone does watch this,
All three of them.
yeah, really. But I mean, anyone who's watching this and who's never used a Cintiq before, and I've mentioned this in my video, if you've never used a Cintiq before, and you're just getting in and you're kind of looking for something that's on a better budget, you can get Huion makes them, Oogie makes them, and Unova makes them, makes tablets too, that are far more affordable, and they're of a high enough quality that a beginner can use them, do a damn good job, and probably never have a problem with it. And
it's a great way of getting yourself into the world of display tablets. But if you're someone who's been using a Cintiq before, even the smaller one, like what I'm using, the 13 HD, and you try to use one of these other brands, oh man, it's painful. It is fucking painful. Especially because for some reason, I don't know why, but they like to make the glass, like the actual glass surface that you're drawing on, way too thick. I don't know why. Like I've seen that with a lot of YouTubers whenever they like try out Huion stuff, Oogie stuff, Unova stuff. The glass they use is like is like twice as thick as the stuff in the in this tablet, and that makes it kind of a pain in the dick to try and calibrate properly, because now you have a physical separation between the screen and the pen that it becomes way more noticeable. With like Cintiq and all, when I put my pen down on the screen, I don't see any gap. I can't physically see the gap. It's so small. So it makes it easier to calibrate and easier to deal with, which obviously is a big factor. I don't know what you guys use for your digital stuff.
Well, the Surface Pro comes with a Wacom driver, so but yeah, the glass is just kind of. I had to get used to that working traditionally as long as I did, and then I went to the glass. I'm like, it just doesn't feel right. It's like I'm floating above.
Yeah, you're used to like the texture of the paper and the pencil gliding and grinding across the page. All of a sudden, you use these things, and it's like it just glides. Which the fucked up thing is, once you get used to it, it's actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
Which is odd to say because I still do like to do traditional stuff every now and then. I mean, I know with my comic, I'm going to be doing at least an issue or two once in a while traditionally because I have the goddamn paper. I'm fucking using it.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'm not one of those like almost like hardcore purists who is so against, like, I'm not so hard on for traditional that I'm not going to use like these tools. It's just it's too convenient. It speeds the process up so much. It makes a lot of things a lot easier, and you can't beat the quality that it gives you. Plus, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy ink. I don't have to buy pens. I don't have to buy paper. It is nice.
Yeah, and even when you're dealing with colors, I mean, you can get any color you want. You don't have to like try to figure out, like, do I use burnt umber? Do I mix that with that? You know.
Yeah. Do I have this horrible learning curve that comes with using traditional coloring, whether you're using Copics or paint?
Yeah.
You know, there is a really bad learning curve. It takes a while. At least with this shit, I mean, you see the colorings I did on my pages. It's mostly just fill flats in and then do basic, you know, like basic stuff, you know? Like, I just do shading. And then I think eventually I'm going to start doing some, on my comic, I'm going to do highlights, but I'm going to do it in kind of that cartoony Dragon Ball way where it's just these solid lines, like they're solid chunks of light, not these gradient lights. Because I know in most comics coloring, I think they call it the lasso and cut, or the cut and grade tool, where you make a selection and then you kind of use gradients to kind of go off, but it still gives you that one hard edge, but then the rest of it's soft.
Yeah.
It looks kind of cool, but it's not really what I want my comics to look like. If I wanted that, I would probably just pay to have a professional do it, or pay to have someone who actually knows what the fuck they're doing with colors. I am terrible at coloring. I am so bad. I cannot pick colors worth a damn, and I can't do anything fancy. Like, I mean, for fuck's sake, I mean, look at... Is this still the first page? Yeah, okay. That is a terrible way of doing a sun and a background for a sun. Like, that is lazy. But I can't do anything fancy with a sun thing. I can't make it look like it's an actual fucking sun. I don't know how to do that shit. I know I need to learn, and I will learn eventually. But for right now, I'm just going to deal with what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, Noah, are you still awake?
I think he's taking a break.
Yeah, I think he needs it.
Yeah.
Because he's been very silent.
Yes. So I've been nursing this one little like ounce all evening, and he's just been down on him, but that's okay.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I can't drink very slow. Like, even with that ginger ale, I was done that ginger ale can pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because as much as I do like I like to sip and I like to taste what I'm drinking.
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of alcohol, I just don't feel I can do that.
Yeah.
Because the moment it touches my tongue, it's like, oh my god, this is so bitter. Like, I feel like I just need to let it go down really quickly. But then, what's the fucking point? How am I enjoying that? How is that enjoying your fucking drink if I can't let it sit and taste the flavor? Which I know some people can. Like, some people can just like actually drink it and they really enjoy it. But I have yet to find any alcohol other than like Smirnoff that I could actually tolerate. And with Smirnoff, it was because it tasted like fucking Sprite.
Right, exactly. It's like soda.
I'm like, you know what? It tastes like soda. It has some alcohol in it. Cool. But then I realized the after effect is the fact that my problem is apparently my stomach is very sensitive, and it doesn't like alcohol. Like, I'm not like, I don't get drunk and get sick. I just get sick because the alcohol, like, because my stomach doesn't like what's in it. And it also could have been of what I ate that day when I had the Smirnoff. Because I only had one, but I also that day I kind of ate pretty bad. I did not eat that great.
Yeah,
so the alcohol probably didn't help.
You gotta buffer it a little.
Yeah. I'm sure if I had some again and I was more careful with what I ate that day, I probably wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
But I'm also in that group of where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to have the chance of it becoming a problem ever, ever.
Yeah.
So I don't need it in my system.
That's fine too.
I've seen what it's done to my mom's side of the family.
Yeah.
I'm not turning into one of them. Oh man. Oh, he's typing. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's in the chat now.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, if it's probably easier to type because you can kind of read what he's typing and correct it better.
Yeah. Take time, erase it a little.
Yep. Take your time. Figure it out.
Now we got something that I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
Oh my goodness. I think he needs to go to bed.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, for coloring, I mean, it took me, because I used to do a lot of, when I did traditional art, I did a lot of watercolors and things like that, so I kind of had to get used to it, like digital inking and stuff. I had to get used to digital coloring and trying to figure out the tools and trying to get them to do what I want. Once you get used to them, it's kind of fun, but
yeah. And my thing is, I never learned how to color. I never learned how to paint. Period. I don't know color theory. I don't know, how to figure out colors. I don't know how to do any of that shit. I don't know how to blend. I don't know any of that.
Yeah.
So, for me, I'd be going in super blind. That's my problem. I'm going in super blind. So I literally chose the coloring theme that I liked because I do love animation. I wanted to be an animator when I was young. I say that like I'm old, but I'm not. I meant younger when I was a kid. And it works for me. It works for my style because, I do have a very animation style. So, ironically, it's it works for what I'm doing, but at the same time, there's sometimes where I look at things that I have to do in the background. I'm like, okay, it works for a character, but like I showed you with that sun.
Right.
They actually had effects that they would do in animation where they would make the sun look like a fucking sun. It wouldn't just be a solid color. It would have effects. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to fucking do any of that shit. I never knew how to do that shit. I've always done illustrations. And by illustrations, I mean a character. I always did characters. I didn't do the full-on illustrations where I'd had backgrounds and detail work.
Right.
Which I probably should do. There's so many things I should do.
Yeah.
Just to learn how to fucking do them. But at the same time, I'm very picky about what I want to learn because I want to learn things that will actually affect what I'm doing. So I'm very picky with that, you know.
So I'm one of those people that say everything you learn helps, I think.
Oh yeah, and it does. But when I kind of was growing up, going through school and all, I always believed that if the obviously if the information has no effect on you, pretty much, like it has no bearings on you, it has no bearings on what you're trying to accomplish, it is basically useless to you, then why should I have to learn it?
Yeah.
And a lot of people try to always argue, it's like, well, it will help you, it'll do that. I'm sorry, but I have to disagree, because you can still learn the concepts without having to learn the techniques. You can still understand a lot of what it is, and that's the biggest thing, is you have to have an understanding of what you're doing.
Right.
As long as you understand the concepts, as long as you understand why things are certain ways, why things work certain ways, why things don't work certain ways. And my thing is, I took the time to kind of learn from others and kind of see what they're doing, even though I know I can't really do it and I don't really have the desire to do it. I still want to know enough to look at it, understand it, and if it's something that I can actually take use of properly, then I can proceed. I can proceed it. But if it's not, then I still learn something, and I'm not wasting my time on something that's not going to end up in a final product, or not really going to have that big of an effect on me. I can move on to something that's going to have more of an effect on me. Even when I was learning anatomy, I only learned enough of how to do it in the basic form of like realism. I did it enough that I understood it. But I knew that I was going to break a lot of anatomy. I was not going to stick 100% to proportions. So I wanted to learn enough to know what things were and how they should look, so that I knew how I can push them.
Well, I think that's the point too. Is you have to know, you do have to know enough.
You have to know the basics.
You have to know the rules in order to know how to break them.
Yeah.
So that's where you go with that. But no, I agree. I mean, even not art stuff necessarily, but I learned things from different things, not necessarily art.
Yeah.
I'm a true believer that everything you do in life, it helps you learn other things.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
There are some things that you can't really escape the fact that sometimes they are just completely useless.
Yeah.
And yet we're forced to learn them, even though they'll have no actual end bearing on us.
Right.
Like, I went through school for the longest time just hating it so much, for many other reasons that were much more heavy, but I also hated the system a lot, because it forced me to have to take these classes and learn all this information that I knew for a fact I would never see again for the rest of my life. And that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because it means I was wasting my time on something that was never going to have an effect. And my argument was, instead of me taking that time to do that, why can't I take the time to learn something else that's going to have a much more dramatic effect on me?
Right.
Like, a lot of I believe that everyone should have a basic understanding of math, of course, a basic understanding of any type of English classes, with writing, reading, that kind of stuff, knowing how to speak properly, which still seems to be a very hard thing for fucking people to do.
Yeah.
And science is a give or take to me. Like, to me, science is not a huge, oh my god, you need to know this, you need to take this every fucking, no. You should have basic science, because you should understand that things have a reason, and that things work the way they work for a reason, and that you should question things. You should try to figure things out if you don't understand them. And that's what science does. It teaches you how to problem solve. But at the same time, there are so many things even with mathematics alone, that they force you to try and learn, that the normal person will never see those things ever again.
Right.
Period. And yet you're cramming it into my brain, using up space in my mind for something that's never going to have an effect. And that always annoyed me, and that turned me off so hard from wanting to continue with school, among the other things that had probably a bigger effect than that. Like, it was just something that I just never could. I could never just shut up and deal with it. Like most people would say, is like, just shut up and deal with it. You have no choice. I'm like, no,
fuck you. I do have a choice, and guess what my choice was? To fucking leave.
Right.
And I did. I just fucking left. I said, you know what? I don't need this shit. I'm in a situation in my life right now where I am honestly contemplating suicide. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Y'all ain't worth it. So that was kind of my sobering moment of I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know, when those kind of thoughts start popping up in your head, something needs to change. Then that's actually so that I actually kind of worried a few friends because they didn't realize that was the biggest, like that was actually a thing with me, because they just saw me leave and they didn't really understand why. You know, so when I eventually did kind of break down a little bit and say, okay, fine, I'll tell you, that scared the shit out of a couple of them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't see it.
Well, it's so easy to hide it.
And it is, especially with someone like me, because I'm always the kind of person, I love being around people who are, you know, obviously if I'm fond of someone, I love being around them. I'm very happy being around people. It's hard for you to see me in a sad moment because my sad moments come when I'm alone. The moment I'm around someone, it's not me trying to hide it. It's just that I start feeling better because I'm around somebody. I'm talking to somebody. It makes me feel better. Right. You're never going to see the sad moments because I can't be sad around around someone a friend of mine. I can't. So unless I say something, you'll never know. And that was always kind of the hard thing that people had to deal with, is that you're never going to witness it. So that's just something a lot of my friends had to kind of deal with, and they had to start asking questions now. All of a sudden, it's like, hey, how are you doing today? I'm like, oh, I'm doing all right. And that's when people actually start realizing that they do have to take the time to ask someone how they are. Like I do every day. When I talk to somebody, the first two things out of my mouth is hi and how are you? How are you doing today? Like that kind of thing. I want to know how you're feeling. I want to know how your day's going. I want to know what are you up to? What's new? I'm always interested in people.
which is a good quality to have, I think. I think we don't ask each other enough. Just as people, I don't think we ask each other enough how everybody's doing.
Oh yeah, like it's come to a point now where, because of the way social media works, and it's kind of desensitized a little bit, because so many people post a lot of their feelings online, but they don't do it in the right way.
Yeah. Because
posting your feelings online and honestly talking to someone about how you're feeling are two very different things.
Right.
Because one post is not going to let someone know the whole story or know the entire effect that it's having on you. So even with me and my friends, if I see even a hint of something wrong, I'm immediately going to jump down and say, hey, what's up? What's wrong?
Right.
Something's bothering you. I can fucking sense it.
Right. Tell me what it is.
Yeah, and that always freaks people out. It's I can just kind of smell it on people. Something's wrong. It's I feel it. Because I pick up on other people's emotions a little bit, because they do it. That has an effect on me. If I'm around someone who's sad, it naturally makes me sad. I start feeling a little bad because they are. I want to see them happy. So it's really hard to hide that shit from me.
Right.
If you're having a bad day and you don't want to talk about it, you really don't want to fucking talk about it, and you don't want anyone to know that you're feeling bad, don't come around me. Don't be anywhere near me. Don't let me even hear your voice. Just text, because that has the moment. Because I can still sense it though through texts.
Yeah.
But it's a little harder. You can kind of just go silent for a little while and say, oh, I need to go do something real quick,
Right. No, seriously, I was just busy.
No, I'm just busy. No, I just need to do something. I'm like, yeah. And just wait until I see you, motherfucker. I'm gonna boop you in the head for not being honest with me. And I do. There are a couple of friends who know that if they're not honest with me, they're gonna get smacked upside the head. And I have smacked them upside the head before. And they know when it's coming too, because all of a sudden they just feel this thump on the back of their head and damn it.
How did you know?
It's you knew this was coming. I kind of inherited that from my dad. the thump on the head thing, because that's what he used to do when I was a kid. He would never strike me like, most people they spank their kids when they're bad, even though that's frowned upon these days because God forbid you actually punish your child for doing something stupid. But what my dad did was he did something worse and was kind of more evil. Is he would just take his middle finger and just thump you right on like the soft spot on the top of your head, man. And fuck, man, that would hurt so bad. But it never leaves a mark. It will not It doesn't permanently damage you. You know.
Special dad thump.
It's just that dad thump that you just did something really stupid, and so you just paid for it. And it's something I've kind of inherited because I do believe in that you do need to discipline people, and it needs to start at a young age. Like I am not against physical punishment as long as it's not abuse, and there is a difference. There's a huge difference. It's not a fine line. It is a big fucking line that you just crossed it, and you're fucking stupid for crossing it.
Right.
You know, spanking your kids like enough to let them know that they did something wrong is, it's something they have to know. They have to know that they did something wrong. They have to know that there is a repercussion for it. Just telling them that they did something bad and, sending them to the corner is not really enough. Right. What you do is you tell them they did something bad. You tell them what it was. Or no, actually the worst thing to do, don't exactly say what it was they did wrong. Like they know they did something wrong. You know they did something wrong. Just tell them that tell them to go sit in the corner, think about it, what they did wrong, and let them know that when they're done thinking about it, they are still going to get spanked. Let them think about it while they're sitting in that corner, that they are going to get hit a little bit. That will terrify them, and that will get them to know not to do something again. Because that will scare the shit out of you when you're a kid. Like my dad did that. Like before the thumps, sometimes he would just he would let you know when he was really pissed off. Because you would be sitting in a corner for a little while thinking about everything you did and trying to figure out, oh shit, what did I do wrong? Knowing that there was a thump coming soon.
Right.
But at least my dad had like kind of a, like all parents should have, is they need to have that kind of buffer system, a warning system.
Right.
You don't just immediately, punish them just because they did it once, depending on what it was. What my dad would have is he would have the look.
Right.
He would just kind of look at you. This I cannot explain it. It's just a certain look that you knew you done fucked up.
Right.
And that was your warning. That was your one warning.
That was my mom. She would give me a look and then just kind of like get up a little bit on the couch, and I was like, oh, I gotta run.
Oh no, unfortunately my mom did not have that. Didn't have that at all. She would immediately go to the screaming and wanting to punch me. That was the mom I had. I'll correct myself. That was the mom that she had turned into because of like alcohol and drug problems. Like that was what that's what that stuff turned her into. That is not who my mom was. My mom was a very fun person who would take us camping and make all the fun stuff we did was because of her.
Right.
So I will correct myself in saying that there was two sides of her. Thankfully, my mom and dad are divorced now, but like she's living in West Virginia. She's living the life she pretty much needs to live. She can't live the suburban state, mother life. That drove her fucking crazy. She's living in a kind of one of those I guess RV. It's kind of an RV, but it's like a fucking home RV. You hit the buttons and the two side panels come out, and now you have all this space, and it's like a fucking home. And there's those like certain campgrounds that let you pay for like a whole month's at a time. So like she lives there.
Right.
And that's the life for her. Sitting around campfire with friends and going places where she wants. She doesn't have to worry about having a set home.
and that's just her. So
Yeah.
it works. I actually got to visit there for a few days. I got to go up and see her. That was when I had the Smirnoff.
Is that what caused it?
Yeah. Well, what did we eat that day? Because we had like for breakfast, we had like these some like sausages for breakfast, and then for dinner we had steak, twice baked potatoes with bacon in it, and lobster. Like that was our dinner.
Hey, why not? Lobster's a good thing.
Yeah, and the lobster was very good. But the fact that I had all that, and I also had like a bunch of chips and salsa and stuff, and she had the salsa, like the Tostito salsa, but she also had the cheese stuff, and I had both.
Mhm.
So I was very fat that day. Like I will admit, I was a fat guy that day, and so I paid for it because as soon as after I drank that alcohol, I could not sleep that night. So yeah, that kind of taught me a lesson.
I think I'm gonna hop off here. So
I was actually getting ready to say the same thing
Yeah, I was gonna
because
say, I think this is winding down. I
This
was
is
wondering where
winding
you
down.
went because yeah, you hadn't talked for a while.
yeah, it's 2:00 in the morning.
Yep.
I finished doing my outlines on the characters. I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna go to bed and try to sleep.
Yep.
Well,
So-
Carrie, thank you so much for hosting this.
Yeah,
problem.
thanks for having us.
Yeah, we definitely have to do it again soon.
Yeah, I'll even officially say it. I'll host the next one.
All right.
We'll figure out a time. It'll probably be another Friday at 10, but we'll give it a little bit of gap. Maybe a couple weeks from now. Who knows? Whenever
Sooner than 6
everyone's
months or whatever.
whenever everyone's free again.
Yep.
Hopefully by then some more people will be able to join in. Maybe we can get Johannes in. Maybe even a couple other people who are having like technical issues, like Sandy and all. Hope maybe they'll have their computer back finally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be fun. We gotta do that again.
All right.
All right. Well, have a great night, everyone.
Okay. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Fairly well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.